Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about our predictions for Pokemon's 2025 and in parentheses 2026. We want to hear from you guys. We did a full episode last week. We put a bunch of ideas up. There's a bingo card on our Twitter, but we've got the secret Discord. We've got our channel supporters, our Patreon supporters. We got everyone in the Discord right now. You guys will be calling in. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear all of your hot takes, your crazy predictions, anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to this year. We want to hear it. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm with the LumiosePost.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
All right, so I'm sharing my screen right here. You can see our 2025 predictions.
You guys to fill this out. Fill this out.
Yeah, we do have the blank bingo card. You can do that if you want. There's a couple things in here.
Is this your predictions, Dusty?
I sent it to you guys. I said, would you change anything? And you guys didn't say anything. So I said, this is our Hidden Power predictions. If you guys didn't participate, so I said,
not receive that text message.
You did.
Are you sure you said that?
You guys,
I don't remember that.
You responded.
I don't remember that either.
Lumi said it was too small of a bingo card, and Soul said it won't do very good on Twitter. And I said, okay, I'm posting it. Neither of you responded to my question.
I said that about the blank one.
Okay, well, I wanted feedback on this one. The blank one doesn't matter. There's nothing on the blank one.
But it's not bingo. It's just Ben.
No, this is an abbreviated bingo because it's more approachable. And also, so if I made this a what would it be, a 5x5, right? That's 25 predictions for 2025.
Yep.
I don't even think
challenge accepted.
Which is actually a better title. That's actually a better title.
That's
25 predictions
for
20.
You said, Lumi, but you never completed the challenge.
Yeah, that's way too many things. There won't even be 25 things that happen in Pokemon.
Yeah, there will be.
No shot.
No, there won't.
All right,
there won't be.
Here we go.
There's no way.
Well, first you got pocket trading.
Sorry for coughing.
Like trading's coming to pocket. You could predict how many more pocket packs we'll get this year.
Yeah, but that's not fun.
I think we can get around 4 or 5.
He's right though that you could go that far into the.
There's no Johto except for Celebi and pocket.
All right, well,
they gotta do like a Johto dedicated thing.
All right. So because this is also gonna be a VOD, right? Because this is also gonna be a VOD. All right. Yeah. So our predictions based on what we talked about last week. Some sort of new Ilka game. That's a prediction. It's an unknown game, something that wasn't discovered in the Terra League. I think. So another prediction is that we're gonna end up with some sort of shiny legendary giveaway for some of the Gen 9 legendary Pokemon. That could be Koraidon and Miraidon. That could be the Ruinous Quartet. I think that's kind of that feels kind of like a, what would you call it? Like a write-in. That's going to happen no matter what. I really do believe that's going to happen. Pokemon ports, I'm not actually predicting it, but I want it to happen. I'm going to slip it in here on the bingo card. Generation 10, I think it was Lumi or Soul mentioned that Gen 10 might get an acknowledgement. Like we might have a stray tweet that says, we're working on the next Pokemon game. We might get a tweet like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I do really think. I don't even think it'll be like a tweet. I think it'll be like a, like just they'll kind of acknowledge it because they did that with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon said, "Oh, we're working on the next. The Nintendo Switch is coming out, and we're working on a game for that console." And then they did also say, when Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were coming out, they said like, "Oh, we're working on a traditional Pokemon game that will be coming out for next year for the Nintendo Switch." So like they kind of acknowledged Sword and Shield before Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
Our freebie, our middle slot is a Pokemon Legends ZA release. Like we're gonna be playing the real game. That's kind of that's the free spot because I'm assuming it's gonna happen, but who knows?
Which is kind of debatable.
Who knows? Maybe it doesn't even happen. Yeah. I want to be hopeful, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it would be,
it could happen.
It'd be the first time in Pokemon history, I think, that they would do something like that.
That they just don't deliver on the thing that they promised.
Well,
Other than
no, in the
Pokemon
sense that they
Sleep.
would just be like, "Oh, we had to delay this like publicly because they said it already."
Didn't they do that with Diamond and Pearl?
I don't know.
Or was that like an internal delay?
I was too little.
I was too little too. I don't remember that, but I feel like people talk about it.
Yeah, I don't even know about that. I also would
feel
say
like
that's just
red and blue.
the company is so different. Like if we're talking about things that have happened as like reference to what could happen now, I feel like that's just too far ago, right? Like the people who worked in the company then don't. It's like a completely different company. It's a different structure. There's different people, different time. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're getting Legends EA. Our sixth bingo slot is, this was my prediction, some sort of integration between Pokemon Sleep and Pokemon Home. I think that would be really cool to see, similar to what we have with Pokemon Go. Sleep is celebrating its second year, so there's a whole breakdown on the full episode if you guys want to hear about that. And then also Pokemon Black and White 3. That's another prediction.
That was a wild one.
Wild
when
card.
I looked at this, I was like, dang. It's like, who approved this?
Yeah, is that not the same as the
you guys
Ilka game?
approved it? I told you.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't think it sounds like we approved it.
Yeah,
no,
you guys didn't respond.
The new Furfuro. Why can't I say it? I don't know. Yeah, the form. That's an interesting one.
You know what?
The Black and White 3 is like,
yeah.
Right.
Is that I don't understand if the prediction is Black and White 3, but also an Ilka new game. What what do you think the Ilka game is?
I'm
It
guessing
might not be an Ilka
multiple
game. We don't know if it's going to be an Ilka game.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have an Ilka game on there. So you think that we'll get Legends CA, Black and White 3, and an Ilka game.
No, this is a bingo card. So like ideally there'll be 3 of these filled out at the end of the year.
Oh, okay. It's
a bingo card.
So you're just trying to get.
These are all the options. It's a bingo
your
card.
Cake and eat it too.
No. It's a bingo card. The idea is you get a bunch of marks and you have a couple selections, and at the end of the year, if we get the Ilka game in a Switch 2, I get bingo because we'll also have Legends EA.
Northander says he'd like to live in the Dustyverse with this prediction.
I know, right?
Okay, I'll give it to you guys. Predictions is kind of it's a harsh word. What this is a bingo sheet. But
yeah, it's a bingo
predictions
card
works
thing.
better.
I will defend
on
your
Twitter.
bingo card in a sense, and that is that when I first saw it, I also thought this isn't bingo because there's not enough bingo spots.
Well, we looked it
say
up.
Bingo.
I looked it up. This is an abbreviated
it's a
bingo.
bin.
Right, but no, that's what I thought at first. But then I was like, no, it's fine. It still works. It's not. It doesn't have to spell bingo. It's just one of these. And then also, like, people do this all the time online when it's not. Of course. And it's not all of the spots. So.
And if you guys do want to,
I just wanted to defend you as well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about it.
I'm making my bingo now.
Yeah, if you guys want to make one of these,
I'm making it with 5.
Oh, here we go. The bingos are coming through.
I'm making it. Oh, hey, y'all send your bingos?
People are sending in their bingos.
Let's tier list
Sabrina
their bingos.
Carpenter collab. I love it.
Dude.
That is happening. That is happening. Oh,
I saw a
love
rumor
this.
that's happening with like the Switch 2 at least.
Yeah. She'll either be in a
something.
commercial or she's making a song for a commercial or something. I can see
yeah.
it. That's awesome. All right, you know what? All right, that's enough setup. These are our predictions. If you guys want and you're listening to the VOD, you can go on our Twitter page, Hidden Power Pod, and you can find the blank. You can make it, upload it, send it to us. We'd love to read it. But in the meantime, let's get some of our Discord members into the discussion. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys are up to. So I think the way this works is you guys raise your hand if you want to speak.
Yeah, it's like something like that. It should be, yeah. I think that's it. It's like a request to speak or something.
And I'll say this: I don't think this.
Yeah,
and I think we'll just say this right up front so it's clear. There are more people in the Discord than paid supporters. We also have friends and stuff. We have friends. There's other people, so we want to give the priority to the supporters definitely first. That's all. I think the last time we did this, we had a lot of buddies on, and we were like, "That's great," but then also we were like, I think we just want to give the priority to the lovely people supporting us. Yeah, just to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, raise your hand if you want to be on the show. I think I'm seeing a request from North Ender. So let's.
I'm seeing a request from NMT Arts.
Yeah, that's what I saw as well. I don't know if I see North Ender. But
okay. Well, I just clicked.
All I
North
see is
Ender.
shut the call down.
Oh, North Ender. No. Oh wait, what is this?
That's NMT Arts.
I'm sorry. They're both green on my end.
They're both
Discord's
green,
abbreviating everyone.
Sorry, y'all.
No, you're good. How you doing, man? NMT Arts. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How are you?
Pretty good, man.
What's up?
Doing good, man.
Thanks for bearing with us this morning with all the technical difficulties.
My life is technical difficulties, so I understand.
hear that.
That's the human struggle. That's like the plight of humanity in 2025.
Walk us through your bingo.
Yes.
I'm
not if
curious
that was
about
what you were planning on doing or
I'm
not.
curious about it. I don't know if that's what you were planning, but I wanna hear the Sabrina Carpenter collabs.
You got a lot of really good stuff here.
What's happening? I know. I really like this.
Origin, Evolution. Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, the Ore region games are just because I have a deep love for like Gale of Darkness and such.
Nice.
Naturally.
So like, even if we just get a port, I would be happy with it. Some of them I think are like probably very likely, like Shiny Box Legends, Paradox Legend Raids. But for the Sabrina Carpenter collab, I can't take all the credit. I stole that from an HDV video.
No. Nice.
But I think it's. Like, I mean, it's been in the news.
There's something she was doing.
Yeah.
I forget what it is, but it's something. It's not Pokemon.
What
I don't think that was
a Nintendo Switch 2 trailer.
Yeah, I don't think
Like
that was
the announcement
HDV's
trailer.
prediction. I think that
She'll
was like
be
a news
on it singing the song.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
like,
I see.
Get
Yeah.
a Switch 2.
Yeah, what would she sing? She'd be like,
She already mentioned the
"That's
Nintendo
that me
Switch.
Joy-Con," and we're just like,
It'd be something like
when we dance,
really terrible.
it's like
Probably.
She
it's like
mentions the
motion control.
Nintendo Switch in that song. Because she says
Damn,
switch it up
she
like Nintendo.
does. Oh my god, dude! It comes
She
full
was telling us.
circle.
There it is.
I'm not
There's
even a
the-
Sabrina Carpenter fan. And I got that, Dusty. Come on.
The deep dive.
You know, Lumi, they say when you hate something, you actually love it. So
You know what, Dusty? I'll tell you this: if this was 20 years ago, you know who'd be doing that Switch 2 trailer? Jimmy Buffett.
no, he
I'm
wouldn't.
on board.
He wouldn't,
I'm on
dude.
board.
I'm
He's
on
on
board,
board.
too. That sounds like a good time.
All right, NMT Art. Yeah, we want to hear from you. So just tell us whatever you want to tell us. I feel like we're talking over you.
More DLC that interests me. Talk about that.
As Lumi
The
proceeds
only
to
thing I can
talk
think
over.
of is that when you flip through like the Scarlet Book, Violet Book, there's the little gorilla dude,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Wow.
I've always wondered if that was just supposed to be like the rear end of a Slacking or like a hint towards another Pokemon. But I figured maybe not like a full blown DLC where you have to pay money for it, but
Yeah.
like just here's a free item, like here's a mythical Pinap berry. You can go and get the gorilla guy. I don't know. It was a thought that I had.
That'd be awesome.
No, it definitely is a piece of like missed. It's one of those things where you see a hint, you see it, and you can imagine what the content would be. You can imagine it being a new Pokemon. You can imagine it being maybe like a new fetch quest or something, right, or a special Slack auth or whatever, right?
Right.
And those things are always fun because my favorite thing in the world is imagining new things that I could experience in a Pokemon game. But I do think to maybe argue against that ever happening and us ever getting an answer to that is that I think the Scarlet and Violet books had a lot of misdirections, right? We got
That's fair.
we got those fusion paradox Pokemon that ended up really being an interpretation by whoever the author was rather than a reflection of an actual Pokemon, you know. Right? The paradox Pokemon we actually got were just standalone one-to-one
Could have been a
paradox.
cut. Could have been something cut as
It
well.
could have been, yeah.
I just get optimistic because I agree with the idea that we're probably going to be stuck with Scarlet and Violet through 2026. So I'd be interested to see if they're going to give us any additional content beyond just here's a mass outbreak, here's a raid event, which admittedly I participate in every single one, but a little more story to tide us over would always be nice. But that's optimism. For
Yeah, I mean,
that
I
would
guess
be the big brain move. They should do that, but
Well, because it makes sense. They probably won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think we were
Exactly.
talking about this a
Classic
little
Game
bit on
Freak.
our last episode, and I think it just kind of comes down to what kind of resources they have, and I feel like Game Freak's and the Pokemon Company's prerogative has always been to just like keep chugging forward. Like, don't go back. Just keep going forward. And even though there is a lot to enjoy about Scarlet and Violet, and it would be nice to have additional content for those games, I feel like their team has to be so small. Whatever team is still on SV, they're worried about raids, right? Or they manage the raids.
Right.
But when it comes to, I don't think we're getting another story, right? I mean, we essentially already got the epilogue, so it's done theoretically, right?
Do they manage the raids, or are those like already like preset?
I'm sure they
I've
have a
always
team
wondered
of
that.
people. Like, it could be 3
Yeah.
people who just like double check
Click a
to
button.
make sure, the Rayquaza event, it doesn't end up being like a shiny Jigglypuff accidentally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I think
There's
I
definitely
didn't have a lot-
somebody doing
I
it.
didn't have a lot planned to talk about. I just had a few minutes until my next class
Nice.
knocked on the door, so I just wanted to say hi.
no, I appreciate it, man. I think,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but just to
That's what it's about, right? We're
yeah,
just
no,
chilling.
this is awesome, man. I think to maybe also add to what you're saying though, like, we had a theory that I think it'd be really cool to see some of these, the Ruinous Quartet, right? Have like a what would you call it? Like a raid event, right? Where they show up as shiny, and maybe that's the distribution event, or
I need a
replaces the
shiny
distribution
TU in my
event.
life.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I need a shiny Chien Pao.
oh my gosh. No, but
Chien Pao,
Chiyu, bro.
dude.
She was good.
Yeah.
No, Chiyu. Chiyu.
Chiyu is good.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best shiny of Gen 9. Outside, maybe Koraidon. The two of them for me are like right up there.
Not
So-
with
I still
Chonk.
really like the future Paradox shinies. The Chrome, that's neat. I mean, it's it's
That's
simple.
hilarious that you like that. A lot of people don't like that.
No, I like
my
it.
take is that between Koraidon and Miraidon, I like Miraidon more,
Yeah.
but I generally like the past Paradoxes more.
Mm.
Mm. I think that's fair.
Just give it to your heart like a little bit. Just give in and just be like,
Yeah.
I might like the future ones as
Dude,
well.
dude, I rewatched. I was listening to our Gen 9 tier list from like when Scarlet and Violet first came out, and I still can't believe that Soul does not like Iron Valiant. He loves Gallade. He loves the future Paradox, and he hates Iron Valiant. I don't understand it. Has that
It's only
changed in
grown,
2
too.
years?
Yeah, it
breaking my
changed. It's
heart,
only
Soul.
grown.
Oh, you
I'm
love it. now.
Sorry. No, it's only grown in hate.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't
All good.
hate it, but
No, I know.
just strongly not whatever. Anyway.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
man.
to do another tier list on those so that
Yeah, that'll be fun.
we kind of have our
I
refresh
gotta-
thoughts.
Yeah.
I gotta go track down some kids. I just wanted to say hi.
No, I appreciate it,
Have fun,
man.
have
Thank you so
fun.
much for your
Have
support.
fun. That's
Thanks
so
for being
awesome
here.
that you teach music. Yes,
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, that is awesome, man.
Okay.
We'll see you
Enjoy.
around, all right?
Enjoy your time.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Enjoy your day.
I shall.
All right, how do we bounce? Do people have to bounce themselves off?
I'll just leave.
No, we can click. You can click on them, and you can click. Because I did it to you earlier.
But yeah, if
okay.
they can just leave too, like you did, that's probably easy.
Okay, yeah, they can leave, but we can also. There's like it was some way I moved you to
Yeah.
the audience.
All right. Yo, what's up, JD?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
What up?
Hey.
What up?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Doing good. I'm glad you made it,
good.
man. I saw that you were having trouble seeing the thing, so I'm glad you could find it.
Yeah. I was debating whether I was coming on. I love watching the show, but I like it as my leisure time. Usually when I cook or
Nice.
when I just have
Mhm.
like something to do. So
What do you like cooking?
right now, I'm actually just made some pancakes. I got a day off,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so
You put-
Are
you
you
put
snowed in?
blueberries
Is
in
that
them?
why?
I am snowed in. Yeah, there's some
Okay.
snow on the ground, but
That's epic.
yeah,
dude.
the main. I've been wanting to ask you guys or get more elaboration on the Kingdom of Azoth and just the relation to Legend ZA and stuff like that. I know that this is a prediction episode, But
No, it's all good.
yeah,
It's kind of everything. That's like the background, but yeah, the backbone.
And I mean, it's a prediction episode, but like, if they're gonna connect the Kingdom of Azoth to a game, it's probably gonna be now. You know, so
yeah.
I mean, I think there is a mention of, because the issue with the Kingdom of Azoth is it is anime, and so it's a question of, do they want to cross that over? But there is a mention of a Project Azoth in Oris, and I could very well see that coming into play.
true. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. Yeah, I don't have much predictions, honestly. I mean, I kind of agree with just what's going on, what everyone's been saying in the community.
Yeah.
But I go ahead, Soul.
I mean, I could just, I did like a whole thread on it at some point. But I just like my memory. I know Lumi knows a lot about it, but there are some really crazy connections to it, to the Kingdom of Azoth and to that movie, which is the it's the Magirna and Volcanian one. I forget, the name is like so long and convoluted. But it's just like,
I don't remember the name either.
Yeah, it's the, never mind. Anyway,
yeah, you're trying to figure out
it's
the,
just
the
crazy
name
because
of the movie.
the name
Volcanion
of the movie.
and the Mechanical Marvel.
Mechanical Marvel. That's right.
Yeah, there you go. But the crazy thing is that in X and Y, you know, AZ is the king, like he's a king, right? And then but he's, I guess, of Kalos. But then in the movie, it's like the Kingdom of AZ because it's Azoth, right? And there's the whole Azoth, like what it means in alchemy. There's just so much. There's so much that you can go into, and then there's also the villain of that movie like forces mega evolutions, and I definitely think that there will be an aspect of that in Legends ZA, because I think that the megas will be like megas gone rogue, or like they are attacking the city. So stuff like that, I think, is gonna. I don't think they're gonna directly connect them, but I think they are like taking ideas from it, and like it's spilling over from those ideas in the anime, I think.
Yeah,
wild, but
anyway. I definitely think that there's going to be some sort of, honestly, I think there's going to be some sort of time travel, and it's going to have to go back to the kingdom, something with the Kingdom of Azoth and how it was so mechanically advanced but also ancient. It kind of reminds me of Zelda Breath of the Wild technology.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's like it's futuristic medieval.
I still haven't given up on like there being some kind of time shenanigans with Legends EA. I still think that there might be something. So
Yeah. Something that I think about a little bit is, can we look at Legends Arceus, right? And is there anything in that game? And actually, I might be able to think of one already. But is there anything in the game that pulls in or canonizes something from the anime, or does it pull in previous or other types of media, Pokemon media, that are related to Sinnoh, and ties it into or brings it into the game canon? Is there anything?
What, you mean like
we're talking about Azoth Kingdom from the anime?
I can't
bringing that
immediately
into
think of one,
Legends ZA,
but
so
that doesn't mean there isn't, you know.
Yeah, so the one that maybe I'm thinking about, but I'm asking this question because it's like, if we're thinking about, right, what could show up in Legends ZA, I'm curious if there's any other precedents. So the thing that I'm thinking about actually is the Manaphy event. I'm pretty sure there's some connective tissue between that Manaphy event. It's not even an event. There's a mission or whatever, the Manaphy mission. I think the way that you get Manaphy, I believe, ties into the Manaphy movie. Wherever Manaphy shows up in whatever movie it shows up in.
I don't think that's correct.
I don't know, actually.
That was a Kanto. That was a advanced generation movie that took place in Kanto.
Okay.
So it was a Gen 3 movie that took place in the Kanto region. So I don't think there was any connection there, but there might be some connection to like the lore we're given about Manaphy and Pokemon Ranger.
Sure, okay.
Because that's where you initially got the Manaphy egg and sent it over. Also, interestingly enough, you know, like the Manaphy egg's kind of famous for having like its own design. You know, it doesn't look like the generic Pokemon eggs in game. You know, they all have the same design.
Yeah.
Which they started doing that a bit more later on too.
Yeah, but but like even in the games, they still all are just the white egg with the green spots, right? So the interesting thing about that is that like that Manaphy egg we haven't seen since Gym 4 in a Pokemon game, but they did bring back the Manaphy egg and do that design for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, which is just, you know, it's interesting, I think. I don't know if it's revolutionary, but it's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much all I had to say.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in. It definitely is it's an interesting topic, the Azoth Kingdom. I think really
it's in depth. It's in
depth.
I
think what it really comes down to is how many Generation 6 and Kalos in general, those games, I do feel like they were not rushed, but they were lacking in explanations. So there's a lot of questions going on there, right? And I think in a lot of ways, I would predict that Legends ZA will actually, I do think the developers will be thinking of it as a spiritual Z version, right? As that third version. I don't think it's actually going to be a third version, but I do think they will be. I believe they are aware that is something that the fans want and will want to, you know, for lack of a better way to say it, right that wrong, right? So I think when we talk about these other pieces of media surrounding Kalos, the history of Kalos, it's cool. It's honestly really cool, and I would love to see it show up in ZA. Yeah.
I agree.
Like, look at this. This is
Check
so
out
cool.
that thread I made because it's like,
yeah,
I go into a lot of in-depth stuff with it.
Here, I'll drop the link in the chat. It's right here. This is Soul's.
And there's like other ones connected. I think that I made other tweets, tweeting it, like connecting it. So there's a lot. Anyway,
cool,
man.
It's fun stuff.
Well, thanks for calling, JD.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Enjoy your pancakes.
Keep cooking, bro.
Yeah,
Send us a pic.
I'm Italian too, so
oh, Italian pancakes?
All right,
is that a
awesome.
thing?
Pancakes? No, I mean I cook a lot of pasta though.
Oh,
cook
nice.
a lot of pasta.
Italian pancakes? That's just pizza, bro.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I want to get Grape up next, but I did see Jake.
Good talking to you.
Jake threw up his predictions, and there's
he
some
didn't
crazy
throw up.
stuff.
He just threw up a hand.
No. Jake threw up predictions. He threw up a prediction.
All you said was Jake threw up.
Oh yeah, I paused there.
It. And just comment, guys, I puked.
Yeah. Jake's ill right now. He's in the chat. He's violently ill.
Why did Jake puke?
Anyways, all right. Grape Ape, can we get him in?
Yeah.
Just hit that little hand.
All right.
I
don't know how to do this.
I hit the invite send. It's not doing it though.
Oh, that cat is so awful. Oh man, for the listeners, just a gif with a cat.
No, but this is great. Jake's got Jake's predictions are Mega Machamp, Mystery Dungeon, Pokken 2 on Switch 2, Mankey gets added to Unite. There's a non-detective Pikachu live action movie. Legend ZA gets an 88 on Metacritic. Halucha gets an evolution.
That should be accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every evolution gets a mega. That would be a crazy selling point. Can you see that in a trailer?
If Jake nails the 88%, I will. Yeah. That will be amazing. Mega Machamp too. A lot of people are thinking that. I know Grape Ape. You thinking something like that too?
What's up, man?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey guys. Can you guys hear me well?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what I have is actually very spicy because what is a Pokemon that doesn't have at least one controversy attached to it? And so I've been listening to a lot of you guys' podcast and your retrospectives, and it's inspired me to go back all the way back to 2005 and 6 when Diamond and Pearl infamously got delayed. Ishihara announced it and apologized to the fans. And I was looking at the last time they officially announced a delay, they apologized for it, and there was a lot of sadness in Japan. But I did some research and I was thinking about how you guys were talking about Legends and Generation 6. And that all that is to say that my controversy is that I don't think there are going to be any new Pokemon outside of no, and I do mean no new cross-gen evolutions outside of just there being new Mega Pokemon. And I think ZA is mainly going to just feature Mega evolution of pre-established generations, maybe 1 through 6, and maybe one later gen Pokemon. I think it's just going to be Megas. I think that's going to be the big theme of the game.
Rip.
And my logic behind this is that I know people bring up Legends Arceus, but if you look at Diamond and Pearl, for those who were around back then, one of the biggest thing the Pokemon Company promoted back then is that, hey, these new Pokemon, these old Pokemon can evolve again. They showed like pre-evolutions like Mime Jr., Bonsly, Munchlax, Electivire. That was always featured back then. I saw Weavile was shown off. And the only legitimately new Pokemon that they showed off during that period that wasn't related to an older Pokemon was Lucario.
Yeah.
But everyone else, Roserade, Bonsly, Mime Jr., Electivire, Magmotor, Miss Magius, Togekiss, they were all evolutions of older Pokemon. That was like the Generation 4 thing. And Generation 4 also really introduced the idea of forms for legendaries. We had Shaman, who had its Sky form. Garantina had its Origin form. Arceus, even though they're just palette swaps, had its plate forms. Rotom had its forms. So I feel like that was kind of a Generation 4 thing. But in Generation 6, the only new cross-gen evolution we got was Sylveon. And they promoted that, but that was only there to promote the fairy type. It and Xerneas were the fairy type mascots.
Yeah.
So you can argue it was just there to promote the new type. But if you go back and look at Gen 6 and and Oras, most of the hype cycle outside of just new mechanics was just Mega Evolution. And I think what they're going to do, looking at the anime, Masuda said that they wanted to quote unquote surprise fans, which is why they didn't make a Z version and skipped to Gen 7. But a lot of stuff in the anime was like there to kind of, act as a Z version.
Yeah.
So I looked at the anime, and there is this one plot point that Lysander did that doesn't really go anywhere because he starts experimenting on Manon, Alon's friend, her Chespin, and he has these Zygarde cores. He's like experimenting on it with Zygarde, and he has an obsession with Ash Greninja. Even though Alon's Charizard is right there, he says that Ash's Greninja, there's something special about it, and it has a connection with Zygarde. Where I'm going with this is that if you look at how they promoted Mega Evolution, they showed off Mewtwo Y first. And that was the one that they used to promote the whole mechanic. And they did that because they're like, is this a new Pokemon? Is this a new form? Like TPC was acting as if it was Mew 3, and they played with that idea.
Yeah.
And they could only do that because Mewtwo Y looks way different than the other Mewtwo. Like, the other Megas just look like forms.
Yeah.
But Mewtwo Y legitimately looks like it could be something else.
It's way more of a cross between Mew and Mewtwo, right? Are you kind of getting to the idea of like fusions almost? Right, because Ash Greninja is a fusion. Mega Mewtwo Y kind of feels like a fusion. Zygarde is not it kind of is a fusion of all the different cells.
I think that there is going to be, because in X and Y, they say that Xerneas and Yveltal, their DNA kind of makes the Mega Stones once they interact with like evolutionary stones. My thesis is that Team Quasar, because the Terra Leaks say that Zygarde has been dormant even to this day, my thesis is that there is going to be a new form of Mega Evolution. It's still Mega Evolution, but the forms, because we know that their design philosophies have changed when it comes to how they make forms, like, the G-Max forms. Like, if you look at G-Max Urshifu, it's still Urshifu, but it looks way different than the normal one. I think this Mega Evolution that Team Quasar is working on is still Mega Evolution, but it's like, I'm going to call it a Zenith.
Yeah, I'm loving this, man.
Mega Evolution that
Yeah.
radically changes how a Pokemon looks. Like, it's still a Pokemon, but if they're going to only have Megas, it's got to be like Mega Mewtwo Y. They have to be able to pass this off as a quote-unquote new Pokemon or form. And I think this new type of Mega Evolution that's connected to Zygarde somehow is going to alter a Pokemon so much that it's going to legitimately look like it could have been a new evolution or like a fourth stage evolution. So like, take Machamp. If Mega Machamp exists, I don't think it's just going to be G-Max Machamp. I think it's going to look way different. It's going to look like they took Machamp and said, what would Machamp look like if it evolved? And like, I don't know, it evolves into like a fighting dragon type or something.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I know what you're saying. Okay, so where Mega Evolutions are kind of just an extension of the existing, the existing essence of a Pokemon. You're kind of suggesting that this new type of this sidestep, this parallel Mega Evolution, right? Maybe fueled by Zygarde or something, maybe could almost allow the Mega Evolution to function almost like a split at Evo or something. Yeah, way more radical. Something that where the Pokemon through Mega Evolution embodies different things. I think this is interesting. We've talked similarly about this. I think my theory was almost like an artificial Mega Evolution, right? Where whatever is creating in whatever is like kind of triggering this new type of evolution, it is artificial. It would not incur naturally. And basically the way to illustrate that is to make what you're saying, right? Is to take to take a Pokemon that is not draconic at all, right? Machamp is it's very humanoid, and give it something with a Mega Evolution where it doesn't even it looks nothing like almost like what if it's like, okay, to illustrate this for listeners, take a Machamp, it's got all these like arms and it's got these limbs. What if each limb was a dragon or like a dragon head, like a Hydra, right? That is so
awesome.
different from Machamp, right?
Now Machamp's good.
I like Machamp actually.
Yeah, it would. The idea here is that, because that was done in the anime, but they realistically didn't do anything with it because they had nothing to work with.
Yeah.
But he was obsessed with Ash Greninja, and if you look at Greninja, take away the Ash thing, it looks more like. So like Greninja's based off of Jiraiya, who's like a mythical frog ninja from Japan.
Whoa, how do you spell that? Jiraiya?
It's Jirya, Jiraiya, like legendary ninja.
Oh, Jiraiya.
Naruto
shows up. Okay.
Yeah, Naruto's gonna give you that.
Yeah, like
that's what you're gonna get no matter what.
Yeah, I'm looking up Jiraiya frog. Okay.
Yeah, so my idea is that what if this new type, because Zygarde has its complete form, and in Japan it's called, I think, like the perfect form.
Yeah.
But the idea here is that this new artificial, because Team Quasar is doing it with Zygarde, this new Mega Evolution allows a Pokemon to reach that Zenith. And I say Zenith because in the leaks, we know that Necrozma, its Z-Power, represents that as well. And Necrozma gives its energy to other Pokemon, and it powers them up and allows them to use Z-Move. And Zygarde is like the only modern-day third legendary that does not have a gimmick that affects its region like the others do, like Eternatus or Terrapagos or
you could say it being the what is it? It's like the ecology Pokemon or what is it? What is it? I forget what Zygarde's classification
Basically
is.
Balance. Zygarde is the balance between life and death. Yveltal is death. Cerneus is life.
Doesn't
Zygarde
it have to do with like the ecosystem though? I believe it's.
I mean, that's what life and death like. They're all
sure.
ecosystem related. You know.
All right, I was
one
just
is mass extinction. One is overpopulation.
All right, that's good. I was gonna say maybe you could read into it and say, well, Zygarde is it represents the balance of Kalos specifically in that way. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, this is really cool. I love all this connective tissue, Grape.
I mean, I love the whole theory is like amazing. I really hope that it happens like that. And I hadn't actually looked at Mega Mewtwo Y and like looked at it proper and been like, wow, it's such a far like off in the distance design compared to Mewtwo. And it makes me excited for Megas a little bit because I mean, whether you're right or not, they could still make megas like this that look more different. Like, can we get ones that aren't just the Pokemon with like some added things on them? Because this is like a whole departure from Mewtwo. Like, it's not Mewtwo really.
Yeah,
I mean, they have the X that kind of looks like it, but
and I think this is something here. Like I'm thinking about what makes complete Zygarde, right? What makes its 100% form? There's 100 cells that come together to make a larger thing. If there is any connection between Zygarde in its form and Mega Evolution, I think we could take a look at these different type of evolutions. We have the Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo X. We have Mega Mewtwo Y. Maybe, I mean, that kind of implies to me that maybe there's a Mega Mewtwo Z, a Mega Mewtwo M, a Mega Mewtwo, right? There's maybe 100 of these. And then, I'm not saying Game Freak would ever create designs for all of these things. What I'm saying is maybe the implication is each one of these megas, or every mega that we know, is just one deviation of what could be possible, and maybe a way to exemplify this into maybe heighten Mega Evolution and to maybe give it additional context and tie it into Zygarde to like what you're saying is to basically give us like an ultimate form, right? So all of these megas or maybe new Pokemon have access to megas that are like their complete mega form. And that complete mega form is just, something I can't even imagine what that would look like. I do kind of like the idea of like the artificial forms, because then I think that's a little bit easier to, right, as a piece of, as something that you have to sell to an audience. I think that is a little bit easier to illustrate. It's like if you to make something look artificial, we've seen that before with cloned Pokemon. We've seen that before with, you could kind of say the paradox Pokemon, right? I think in some ways, even Mega Evolution itself are artificial, right? In some ways. So I love this so much.
Yep.
Thank you guys. I got the idea from you guys, and in a Polygon interview, Masuda compared it to Shonen or Dragon Ball Z transformations, and I think the idea here is that Soul is right. I don't think they can just do. I mean, they're gonna do it, but there has to be like something special about this Mega Evolution, and Zygarde is the end all be all. And I think promoting this new form of Mega Evolution as the Pokemon taking its zenith, its logical conclusion, where it is at its apex, maybe at the cost of it losing so much control, because in a way it's almost like a Pokemon becoming a legendary version of itself, like a la, this is the same thing, like an Ursaluna or something. So it's going, so Machamp, this Dragon Machamp, it is its apex, the zenith, but it can't control that power because it's not natural. It's not supposed to be able to achieve this form. So maybe these new Mega Evolutions are incredibly powerful, but it takes a toll on the Pokemon's health and well-being, kind of like what happened with Karina's Lucario from the anime, where it lost control because it couldn't handle the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love it. I hope that they do
like
bro.
that.
I hope, because I mean, we're also talking about like if there's only megas, and it's just they have to do something to make.
There will be.
Even if there will be, is it just like, is it enough? That's what we're getting at, right?
I think there will be
regular megas coming back enough.
I think it won't just be megas, but I think it'll be like megas, then like some kind of form for Xerneas and Yveltal that's not a mega, but it might even be like Primal Reversion, where it's like functionally megas,
Yeah.
And then maybe a new mythical. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Listen, I'm cool with the idea of if we only get megas, if they maybe add some context, or I think it really comes down to the way we interact with the megas in the game. I think we've had this conversation many times. If we can only use megas once per battle, sure, that's fun, but like it'd be way cooler to like mega evolve to basically treat Mega Evolution the way you can treat, any other legendary form change, where it's like out of battle, you can flip between the forms and you can interact with that Pokemon in the overworld, right? Because I do think that's so integral to the gameplay of Legends Arceus. It's using your Pokemon in the overworld, and entering this flow state, and just it's that level of immersion. So if the megas are locked to battle, a lot of people don't enjoy battles as their core Pokemon experience. So I definitely think that is going to make
It's
a
not
big
even
difference.
the core experience of Legends Arceus. So it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's true. No, absolutely, that's true.
it's like,
I do like how, you know, your idea addresses how there would, like, it can easily explain how there's new megas, which, like, at the end of the day, Game Freak doesn't have to explain how there's new megas, but I do like when they try to add, like with Legends Arceus, it's like, okay, why the heck is Stantler able to evolve now? Oh, well, it's because it's in the distant past, and you know, in the distant past, Stantler was able to. I like when they give that explanation, but it could be as simple as, you know, for one, maybe, purely hypothetical, but maybe Vileplume was always able to Mega Evolve, and just you didn't find its Mega Stone in X and Y, you know? But if it's set after X and Y, if the first ultimate weapon firing created Mega Stones, well then the second ultimate weapon firing, because the ultimate weapon was fired again X and Y, maybe that created more Mega Stones. I think that could be a fun idea to tackle if it's set after X and Y.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys played ORAS recently, but I played it a couple of years ago, and it says that after Rayquaza crashed into Deoxys and you capture it, like the meteorite falling down, like it said that it created new Mega Stones, and that new Mega Stones might start appearing. So if it is,
ooh, that could be a really big plot point. Actually, I could see that being like, oh, remember this? That's what happened. So.
And to add, the last thing I'll say is that I do think to add, that my idea was like, okay, if it's gonna be mainly just megas, just hypothetically, they're gonna want to do what they did back in X and Y, where they could say, what is this? They could show, I don't know, this dragon-looking Machamp, and it'll be so drastically different from the Machamp that we know that people could start speculating, hey, what is this? What is this? Is this a new form? Is this a new evolution? And I think they'll want that sort of excitement after like taking a year off to get people engaged with the content, the games again. So I thought, because, we do know that Chespin or managed Chespin was being experimented on with Zygarde in the anime, maybe that's why we are getting the starters again, because if Team Quasar is the one who gives you your starters, they would be the starters that they could be experimenting on, and no one would say anything because they're starters. They're always in the lab. So maybe they have been experimented on, and their new forms or evolutions might come about because they've been experimented on with Zygarde cells.
Yeah.
That's cool. Sounds good to me. Some good
Dude,
stuff.
I'm pumped about this. I'm pumped. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much I wanted to talk about ZA today, just because we had convinced ourselves we were going to get a
talk
trailer.
About 2025. predictions.
No, I
It's
know exactly.
2025.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. But
Yeah.
Grape Ape, thank you so much for jumping on. This was a fun conversation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no problem, fellas. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting us over the years.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
I do want to take a look here. Lumi
At Lumi stuff.
It looks like Lumi was able to make a full bingo card, and I would say most of these are not going to be real.
I do want to say that a lot of other people made their bingo cards too, and we should look at them as well. But we'll look at Lumi's first, right?
I agree.
I
just want to pull this up because Lumi did a full bingo card.
I don't think they'll all happen, but it's kind of like what you said, Dusty. The goal is to get a little bingo here. But to very briefly explain, I think that we will have Shiny Ruinous Quartet. I actually don't think they'll give us Shiny Koraidon and Miraidon this year. I think they'll save that till next year because that's the last year of
that's so
Scarlet
true.
and Violet.
You're right. We basically have 2 years left.
So
Scarlet and Violet.
I think they'll split them up, do Shiny Ruinous this year, so that next year they can do Koraidon and Miraidon. I do think we'll get Black and White revealed. I said this in our 2025 video. I think that there is a Black and White game. I think it is being worked on. I think it will get revealed this year, but I do think it'll release early next year. And it'll be for the Switch too. I put Pokemon ZA DLC. This would kind of depend on ZA's release. But I also want to clarify, I don't think this will be like Isle of Armor Crown Tundra DLC, just like Daybreak for Legends Arceus.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
So, me too.
Nice little bonus content.
Anything that gives you a little longevity. It was free, so who's complaining about free, you know?
Well,
I put Ash Greninja just because I think this year will give closure to those upset about the Ash Greninja thing, whether that's it being referenced in its Mega or them somehow explaining something that makes you go, okay, so that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah.
I think that'll happen. I put the Nintendo Switch
Zach
2.
will feel better about that.
Right. Specifically, I think the Switch 2 will release this year. We know it's getting revealed this year. I think it will release this year.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably
going to spin-off.
It's got to release in a couple months.
I put a spin-off, just a new Pokemon spin-off. I think that's possible. Gen 10 mentioned, we already discussed that. I think they'll acknowledge that there's a mainline game being worked on for Switch.
Hey, can we pause for a second? I got to let the dog out.
Course.
So just you guys can just keep going with this.
Okay.
Right.
I'll keep going, yeah. Then for Scarlet and Violet, I do think we'll get a patch to make it run a little bit better on the Switch 2. There's been all kinds of rumors about that, so I think that's very possible. The Paradox raids, I think we'll get raids for Iron Crown, the Paradoxes. At least a Walking Wake and Iron Leaves reroll, since the only way to get those are by the raids.
That makes sense.
Pokemon Works, I put because I think that we will know this year kind of what it is. You know what I mean? Because right now it's like kind of iffy. Like they slapped it on Sleep, but it's like we don't know like fully what. I think we'll like understand this year. Oh, okay, they're mainline Pokemon games that they're going to be doing, or they're doing that.
I mean, we do know that they are working on Sleep, so
yeah, but
that's
I think
all we know
like
about them so far.
I think the full scope will be clear. Then a new
Mega
mythical.
Lucario.
Oh,
you're going that way.
I'll explain that one. That's a. It's not Mega Lucario per se, but what's up, Suba? New mythical. I do think we will get a new mythical this year. Then I put Pokken Tournament. I think there's a chance they announce Pokken Tournament. I'm not confident on this one, but I think there's a chance they announce a new Pokken Tournament for the Switch 2. Just because, it was a pretty successful game from my understanding. It also got its own VGC circuit. So I feel like, maybe they'll want to capitalize on it again and do a new one so that it can again get a circuit. Obviously, Free Space ZA. TCG Pocket, I think 5 packs will come out this year. Then the Mega Lucario, that's a Mega Sitting Cutie. I think they will drop the Mega Sitting Cuties this year.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I think they will include if they release them later in the year, I think they might include the ZA Megas. The MMORPG, we heard from the Terra Leak, there was some kind of MMORPG they're working on. I think we'll hear more about that.
That'd be really fun.
Excuse me. New forms for Xerneas and Yveltal. I don't necessarily think they'll be megas, but I said, I kind of could see them being like mega adjacent. 2026 hype. I think this just like at the end of the year, we'll start like hearing things that they're going to be doing to hype up 2026 because that's the 30th anniversary. So like I remember for the 20th anniversary, they did like an album with Katy Perry. I think we'll like go ahead and start hearing about some things that they're going to be doing.
You mean officially? Only officially?
Yeah, like officially. I think officially we will be hearing about like they'll announce like because some of that stuff will drop in February, right? So I think they'll announce at the end of this year. Oh,
I really hope you're right,
February
because it does affect Legends EA a little bit. Like I don't know when was that when the hype started for Gen 7 because I don't know if they release this hype like in November.
Well, I don't think it'll be Gen 10 hype. I think it'll be hype for like how they are celebrating Pokemon that year. Because like that year, the 20th anniversary, what was that? 2016. It was like beyond just the mainline game, Yeah. It was like, they're doing a collab with Katy Perry. I think for the 25th anniversary, they did like a virtual concert with Post Malone. Things like that. I think we'll go ahead and start getting some ideas of that. Someone said Sabrina Carpenter earlier, NMT Arts. That was NMT Arts who said that. I actually think it'll be Ariana Grande. I think it's inevitable that it'll happen. She's like well known for being a Pokemon fan. She even has an Eevee tattoo.
Who else? Is it her that has the Eevee?
Yeah, she has an Eevee tattoo. So
it was Dua Lipa, but Dua Lipa's into it too.
Maybe Dua Lipa does too. I know Ariana Grande does.
I love Dua Lipa so much.
I am not even familiar. I could not name a Dua Lipa song. I'm sure I've heard them, but I couldn't even name one. So
It's painful.
the Terralika returns.
return.
I think it'll happen. I think he's coming back.
Terralika returns. Did he ever leave? Is that the question? Really?
Yeah, I mean, his Discord's deleted. But yeah,
you mean
I
like
think,
that kind of return?
Yeah, like I think he will come back, and I think he'll at least leak some ZA stuff. After ZA's release. The Mightiest Mark, they've done it for all the starters except for the Hisuian one. So I think they might do a Hisuian Decidueye, Samurott, and Typhlosion
This
raids.
is one of the most realistic ones on this, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I think
Yeah,
maybe that's a backhanded compliment.
No, it's not a diss or anything either. So
nah, just messing with you. I think they'll re-roll the Mythical Pecha event. I think that's possible. I think they should. Project Mistral reveal at Worlds. I think at the end of Worlds, they always tease the next Worlds. Well, we already know the next Worlds because they announced it last year. That's going to be in San Francisco, right? Or is it Diego? I think it's Francisco.
Francisco, yeah. San Francisco.
I think instead of revealing it's at San Francisco this year, they'll reveal Project Mistral. Like, they'll say, hey, you already know it's at San Francisco. It's going to be huge, and, reveal Project Mistral. I think this one I'm not as confident on, but I think we could get a movie announced. Pokemon Bank being closed. I do think that'll happen this year. That I stole from Northender, but as sad as that is, I think that is very possible. And then Pokemon Coliseum. I could see it because I think GameCube games are on Switch Online. I could see it coming to Switch Online. Or at the very least, in the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer, they show, we're going to have more ports on the Nintendo Switch Online for Switch 2, and it flashes up this one so Pokemon Coliseum's coming.
That's the thing is, I don't think that they can, I know you're talking about Coliseum, but I don't think that they can close Bank without having ports on the Switch already. Just going backwards. But it does have to do with Coliseum too, if they ported it.
I agree that I don't think they should, but can they? Unfortunately, yes.
I could see them doing a year-long grace period or something. You know what I mean? But eventually, very soon after they close Bank, they're going to need to make a way that people can bring their Pokemon from their older games.
But you know what? I think that we're talking about ports, and Dusty was summoned. Did y'all see that? We mentioned ports, and the man walks back.
Don't say it.
How we doing? I heard you. Don't say a what. Don't say what. What are we saying?
We literally do. We started talking about ports, and you walked into the room.
Yeah, there we go. I heard it. I know.
Specifically, Soul was saying with Pokemon Bank closing, that's one of my predictions on here. Yeah. He was saying he doesn't think that they'll do that without doing ports first, so that you have a way to get Pokemon from those games.
At least at the same time.
I would
no,
counter
so I agree with you. I think that might be the nail in the coffin. It's if you give us those older
that's the clear sign.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, I guess it gets tricky because it's well, what is that? Because Bank actually lets you connect to Gen 7 and Gen 6 and Gen 5 and Fallout 3, 2, and 1. That's a lot.
Yeah, all of it.
I think, though, I think what they do is they close Bank this year, and you know what that does? That makes people thirsty, so that when they announce the ports next year, that connects. It's an even bigger reveal than it already was. So
that's what I said though too.
Is that someone who doesn't really care about ports? Am I right? At least for some generations, but that would make people like you a little more interested in them.
Yeah. Guys in the chat, get your hands up if you want to jump on and talk with us. Get your hands in the chat. That's what this is all about. So if you want to talk to us, put your hands up. Don't be shy. Multiple of you can have your hands up, and we'll go through the list of whoever's hand is up.
Come on in.
So even if you want to talk from an hour from now, just put your hands up.
Join the party. Diss my bingo.
There's also other Yori, but what if I want to be shy? There's other prediction table things that we can look at.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I know
Wait, did Lumi go through all of his? What did you say for Coliseum?
He went through all of them. Yeah.
For Coliseum, I said I think Coliseum will come to Nintendo Switch Online, at least for the Switch 2, but maybe even, for the Switch.
I could kind of see that. It's not big enough for them to make it a big thing, but
I also want to clarify that the mega symbol next to the Lucario is just mega sitting cuties.
Cool. I'm into that.
Have they ever done like that where it's like something brand new and they release like merch kind of like for it like that in the sense? Because I know obviously they release merch, but I mean sitting cuties, plushie,
I
whatever.
mean,
I don't think it really has to
they
do
did
with the
just
games.
reveal shiny Rayquaza sitting cutie for like the
True. You're right.
raids,
You're right.
you know?
You're right. I'm just thinking like it's kind of wild.
No, but when they put out the
for them.
Gen 5,
They should do this.
when they put out the Gen 5 sitting cuties, we were like, Gen 5 remakes! And then they put out the Gen 6 sitting cuties, and it didn't mean it. None of it means anything. I think it's just they're putting them out like
right.
far apart.
I didn't mean it like that. I just mean like so like he's saying that we get new megas in Legend ZA, and then soon after that they will release sitting cuties.
I said
of
maybe.
those megas.
Yeah.
I think it would depend on the timing. Just the fact that they didn't reveal, because Kalos has the lowest Pokedex of any generation, and so the fact that they didn't release the megas alongside
I can see that.
Gen 6 kind of made me go, are they holding off the megas so that they can release them with the ZA megas?
Yeah, maybe.
But
that actually could make sense. I also think the megas probably just won't look that good as sitting cuties, truthfully. Because of all the details. I kind of want to hear your guys' opinion on this. I was talking to the Discord, just like in one of our VCs, and Unseelie was in there, and he brought up, we were talking about ports, and he mentioned, this is what he just wrote right here. Everyone has a phone. What better way to get main series games in people's hands than their phones? People...
like online.
Yeah, then he's saying, like, and then that might want to get people to buy a Switch. I disagree. But also, I'm not a gamer. I'm just a Pokemon fanatic.
Yeah, I feel.
But do you guys have any opinions on that?
I'm reading the comments. Repeat that. Is it what they're talking about in the little comments here?
Unseelie said, "Everyone has a phone. What better way to get main series games in people's hands than phones?" And I think he's talking about ports, like the older ports.
I think they'd release that on the Switch because I mean it's the same reason they'll release the mainline ones on the Switch is because it sells the console.
And I think it also, I think putting things on mobile, like, almost lessens the value of it. Like, inherently, I think mobile games are, like, more widely accessible. But then there's, like, a gacha mechanic where...
I think they're also, like, kind of seen as lesser by a lot of gamers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you put them on there, I think it can cheapen the image, That's kind of, like, the surface level reason. But I also think, like... Yeah, I just think Pokemon, I just think it'll be better. I don't know. I love playing Pokemon on Nintendo or just hardware, right? Like,
I don't want to be playing Red like this,
No, I want to play. I think another really cool thing about the ports, and this kind of gets like just kind of like overlooked when we have our discussions. Not only is accessibility so important, but also like if I'm playing Gen 3 or whatever, Gen 2 on my Switch, that means I can also pop it up on my TV, which is a completely different experience. And growing up, not even growing up, just like my entire life, I've played so many Gen 2 and Gen 3 games on my GameCube with the GB, with the Game Boy adapter, right? So it's like an adapter that goes underneath my GameCube, and I would just slip the game right in, and I would play it with the GameCube controller on my TV passively, and it was a fun thing to do because it's a big screen, and it just makes the whole thing feel. You know what I think it is? I think when you're a kid, your world is a little screen because that's like your own personal thing that you can control. It's kind of functions like a cell phone. But I think as an adult, when I'm in my living room and I'm on my couch, like I want to look up at a big thing and seeing the world. Seeing Hoenn and Johto as this big experience is really cool, and we don't even have that yet because you can still only play those older games on a small screen. I think the big screen makes a big difference.
So, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Playing X and Y, I'm using an emulator, but like it's up here on my monitor, and that's been a lot of fun.
Do you think you're like noticing details that you didn't see before?
No, but I'll tell you this. So you can, at least with the emulator I'm using, hit the space bar and the game runs faster. And let me tell you something. I never realized how slow Pokemon games were until I was given that space bar.
Wow, I know.
I'm telling you,
no,
man.
I'm with you, man. I played,
especially with grinding. Like, I'll do the
Yeah.
grinding montages between episodes, and like just being able to hit that space
I
bar.
can't go
and
back.
Just go, you know, ugh.
No, dude,
It's
absolutely. Playing the legacy games for the first 3 generations, it's changed my outlook on Pokemon games because like the ability to just like speed through stuff, I think it holds my attention a little bit better, you know, because I'm able to like grind through the boring parts and actually just think about like the team building and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I take my sweet time, you know, so
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me too much.
I'm
Unless
looking
it's
at
Diamond
you-
and Pearl.
Oh no, yeah. Diamond and Pearl
Diamond
is
and Pearl
really
takes
really
forever.
slow. It really is.
Mhm.
But PZ Hero just saw that you became a member. And I'm seeing you in the chat right now. If you want to talk to us, hop on, raise your hand. Noivy, if you want to talk, raise your hand. Bramtastic,
Instant
Lycan,
gratification.
Evan, Lewis, Steel Fight, North. Did
and
North
you're
Ender
out.
talk yet? Yeah. Listen. This is why you guys are here. This is your show. We want to talk to you guys. We want to hear about your predictions for 2025. We want to hear about what
You can
think.
ask questions too.
We could talk
You
Gen
can ask
10, Gen
questions.
5.
You
We
can
could
talk about your thoughts.
Legends ZA, anything you guys want. But this is what the show is here today. So please get involved. We'd love to hear from you guys.
You know what I wish I had done? I wish I had made my little Pokedex game. We could have played it with
I love that you love making it because that's fun.
I love making it.
Next time we should do it for sure. It's
I'm
always so good.
gonna hustle right now and find some.
All right,
You
so
know, it makes me think like I just don't know as much as I should every time.
what about what Soul?
His like Pokedex game. I'm like, dang, I should know this. And I
Oh,
don't.
true.
You know what we're talking about, Dusty.
Where? What? I don't.
You know, my Pokedex game, remember? The Return of SoulSilverArt.
Oh yeah, that is super fun.
Mhm.
I didn't know what you meant by my Pokedex game. I didn't know what that meant.
You thought I meant like the Pokedex game?
Yeah,
on
I
the
was
3DS?
like, what is he talking about? Like the
Yeah.
Pokedex in Home? I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
We've got a prediction here from, this is by Bramtastic. We got his bingo card. He has submitted it. Top left corner, Gen 10 title announcement. Let's lock that in. I still kind of disagree with it. He also says Mega Shuckle, because why not? I could see
Yes.
it. I could see it. Shuckle's kind of a derp. New anime announcement. That's kind of interesting.
Ooh.
What do you guys think about that new anime announcement?
I don't think they'll
save
announce that until Gen 10 gets announced. and
Yeah,
don't
I think
Gen
they
10 will
save
get
it
announced.
for maybe. But here's the thing: is this not 2025 and 20? Well, this is the 2025 predictions.
This is the 2025
Yeah, but
prediction.
2026 will be
bingo
in the title as well.
I was
sheet. If
saying
it's
for the
2026.
for the title though, and for the theme of this podcast episode, it is 2026 as well. So it is fair. And what you said, Lumi, actually makes sense. Like if they start hyping up the 30th anniversary at the end of this year,
Yeah.
maybe they do like a new anime. I don't know. It's like they have to finish the old one first.
Yeah,
or
the-
people-
The old one is
You
so
know what,
behind
though?
already.
He might be right, even if this is not what he meant. We might get because they've been doing it for a while now. Remember, we got Twilight Wings, then we got Hisuian Snow, and then we got Paldeum Winds. So
Oh,
you know,
true.
now we
Kalos
could get a
Fields.
ZA version of it.
The Kalos
Oh,
Fields.
That's almost guaranteed. And if that's what he means,
Mhm.
then yeah, that's almost guaranteed.
That's cool.
They did it for like,
I mean,
the past two or three games. I think they've done it.
But also,
Yeah.
So
what about this? What about this? I really don't know, and maybe this has already been spoiled by, leaks for the anime, which I don't. Lumi will censor me if that's the case. But
Mhm.
what about? Okay, so the Paldea arc of the anime ends, and then we've got a year of Legend ZA. Is there a possibility where the protagonists of the current anime, what is it, New Horizons or whatever, they go
Horizons.
to Kalos?
just Horizons. Yeah.
I mean, they could. It's a like world hopping thing. Like they've been to Paldea, they've been to Galar, they've been to Kanto, they've been to Johto now.
Yeah.
They're about to go back to Paldea. You know, so I mean, they very well could go to Kalos. They kind of don't need to make it Kalos focused though, because it's not Paldea focused already. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, in fact, that was actually something from the Terra leak, was that the directors of the game said, you know, you need to make this more Paldean, which is why they kind of threw in a little Paldea arc.
Okay.
But I think that they, you know, it doesn't need to be more Colosium, because also too the villain has a shiny Zygarde.
Yeah.
So like,
no, that's true.
it's
That's
already
true.
there.
That would be
It's
cool.
definitely
I think that'd be
possible.
really cool.
I don't know if they will, just because, you know, like they haven't been really covering even Scarlet and Violet like to a T.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have their own plot that they want to do, so I don't know, but maybe they tie
In
it in.
fact-
I mean, they definitely will tie in things.
Instead, apparently, it's more like Gen 10 than Scarlet and Violet or ZA.
Yeah.
Yeah. ZA wasn't even really mentioned.
Yo, we got PZ Hero in here. What's going on, man?
Hey, how y'all
Brand new.
doing?
Good.
What's
Good to hear your
up?
How are
voice.
you?
Doing good.
Thanks for the
been listening
support.
to y'all for a very long time. Just became a Patreon
Thanks.
today.
No, I
But
got the
thank you,
email. I
man.
got the email, and then I saw you in the chat. Thank you so much, man. It really does help out.
Yeah, no
Mhm.
problem.
For real. It's awesome.
Just wanted to come in because you were asking for people to come in and talk.
No, this is awesome,
Um,
man. This is great.
So with it being the year of Eevee, I think we may get an evolution. Honestly,
So just tell me how you think that would roll out, because I'm a little curious myself. So yeah, for listeners, the
Pokemon.
the Pokemon Company has dubbed 2025 the year of Eevee, like quote the year of Eevee. That's what the Pokemon Company is calling it. So now let your mind wander.
So I'm thinking we may get. I want to say a normal evolution.
Yeah.
We may get an Eevee to evolve into another Eevee, like how Porygon has an evolution to Porygon 2.
Oh, cool.
Eevee will just evolve into Eevee, a bigger Eevee.
Eevee 2.
Bigger,
Yeah.
a bigger Eevee, but
That's
but
kinda
not
cool.
Gigantamax, just bigger.
And then my other two, I guess my other two guesses for evolutions would be a Ghost Eevee or a Dragon Eevee to parallel with the Fairy Eevee.
No, I love
Is
this,
the
man.
ghost one? Is the ghost one to parallel, or is it just because
I would
you want
say
a ghost one?
if they do a normal evolution, I would release the Ghost Eevee too, so that way there's parallels, because I
Yeah.
noticed
Yeah, that
they
makes
like
sense.
to do that.
Yeah.
And then you could
For
make
sure.
it make sense. You're like, okay, Gen 1 introduced 3 evolutions. Gen 6 added 1. Those even out. And then the other 2 generations introduced 2 each.
Yes.
Math.
And then,
I know, I like this. I like this. In the Ghost also, to me, the Ghost feels like it fits nicely with Espeon and Umbreon.
Yes. Facts.
That's cool.
Hmm.
And I think,
Nice.
okay, so I guess the big question I have then, because I love the idea of getting new evolutions in 2025. But to me, I'm thinking, how and why, and does that even make sense if all we're getting is Legend ZA? Would they? They definitely could. They could give
what
us a
I'm
new
thinking, too.
evolution in Legend ZA,
In
but would
ZA.
they?
That's what I'm thinking too. They could give us an evolution in ZA. They really could. If they really wanted to, they could be like, we're just gonna release the Dragon evolution in ZA.
Yeah.
Or they could be like, okay, we're gonna release a normal version of Eevee in ZA, and then in the next Pokemon Gen 10 game,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we're gonna put the Ghost Eevee out.
Damn, that's cool.
So
You can imagine how I feel about all this.
yeah, I love Eevee.
Oh,
I'm a big Eevee.
So they might.
I know, that's
They
why
might
I'm
not even
trying to
know
hold
yet.
back, 'cause I
They
know
might not
you
even know
loving it
yet.
right
But we
now.
did a whole 2-hour episode on Eevee and its evolutions, and it's not, and we haven't released it yet.
Oh, okay.
So Soul was
we
kind
haven't
of
released that episode yet.
no. So Soul's like, you guys know how I
Soul's
feel,
not an Eevee
but
guy.
no one knows yet.
You don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually am one of the only people that I know that named their dog Eevee
Oh,
after
awesome.
Eevee before Eevee was popular, before Eevee became as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
that's-
that though. I really love that.
The next one I knew that ended up naming it was their dog after Eevee was HD Eevee. It named their dog after Eevee. And when I found that out, I was like, that's
HDV?
cool. Yeah, he
That's
has
nice.
his dog's named after Eevee. I'm like, hey,
That's
my
cute.
dog was Eevee.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
actually really
Yeah.
awesome. We got to talk
Yeah,
to him
she's-
at some point.
But she's passed about 5 years ago.
Oh,
so,
that's too bad. But
Yeah.
listen, she lives on, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Every time you catch an
Whenever
Eevee, you
whenever
think of
you
her.
see Eevee.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm still on my hunt for a Shundo female Eevee
Oh, there we
in
go.
Pokemon Go.
Do you play a lot of Pokemon
So-
Go?
Yes, I'm a level 50.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes,
Are
I'm
you-
very dedicated.
No, that's awesome. Are you how what's your like favorite
I
way
like
to
how
enjoy
you
the game
asked
right
if
now?
he played Pokemon Go when he has a Pokemon Go.
Oh
like,
yeah, I
profile
see
picture.
that. Yeah.
Dusty, what was your question?
PZ Hero, how do you enjoy I mean, I feel like I play Pokemon Go very passively. I'm curious to hear like what you think of Pokemon Go in 2025 so I'm assuming that's like your number one Pokemon experience right now. That's like what you play
Yes,
mostly.
I mostly play on Pokemon Go because
Awesome.
I'm not a fan of the Gen 9 game as much as I am of Pokemon Go.
Okay. All right.
I'm more of a fan of Arceus than I am of Gen.
Awesome.
Gen
Yeah.
9. Just because I grew up with the game, so I'm like, I don't need you all to keep holding my hand in this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Listen, that's very fair. I always bring that up. I think the Legends titles appeal to a different type of person, and that
Yes.
person is usually someone who, is looking for more of a visceral gameplay experience, which is what you're saying. So that makes
Yes.
sense. That's awesome. Yeah.
But I love Pokemon Go. I've traveled to Barcelona. I've been to
For Pokemon Go?
actually, yep.
That's
And,
great.
I've been to New York 2 times, and I've been. Oh my goodness!
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So do you have any predictions for Pokemon Go in 2025?
2025.
Any community day predictions?
Bro, we're gonna get Ralph
Nice.
as our classic coming up again.
That's awesome.
They just announced it, so
That's great. Yeah,
I'm
we just
cheating.
we just got
I
Sprigatito.
was gonna say I don't know what that is.
Oh, the
Yeah, we just
community
had Greg.
Soul, you don't know what the community day classic is? It's like it's just like an old community day, which is essentially I think of a community day as a free giveaway for shinies.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it. So it's like an old shiny giveaway that they're like reviving for
I
a
saw
weekend.
the trailer today, but I didn't know what Pokemon that was.
It's
Dude.
Ralph, and which is good because Mega Gallade, Gallade, right? Gardle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
That
coming
makes
out.
so much sense now. That makes so much sense. I thought you said
Mhm.
routes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like in
Yeah,
like in the
sorry.
games.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
ROUTES.
Yeah. So I was like routes, and I'm like, wait, they're putting routes in Pokemon Go. How does this work? And I so my brain.
Well,
was
they
just,
do
like,
have routes.
churning.
They do have
Technically,
routes.
routes are in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I don't play Pokemon Go, but that's that's interesting.
So do you
But
have any
I love
do you have any predictions, PZ Hero, while you're here for Pokemon Go, or anything honestly?
Honestly, for Pokemon Go, no, not really, because I have okay. So I know that I know the fusions of Reshiram and Zekrom are coming out. I know that, so it's not really a prediction. It's more of a
Right.
we're
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict for Pokemon Go because of the fact that the stuff's going to come.
But when?
We're just waiting for it. Yeah.
Mm.
We feel the same way. We're like Gen 11's coming,
Yes.
but when?
Yeah, but I mean, the whole like black and white thing with Pokemon Go is kind of huge. If there's any black and white games coming,
Mm.
like
nice.
it's like they just, February, right around the same time as Pokemon Day. You know who's coming to Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
All of the Tau trio and
Combined
the
with
starters.
the combined
Mhm.
with the TCG thing for Black
Yeah,
and
actually,
White. That's
I
happening
love
this
Black
year.
and White. A lot of people hate it, and I love Black and White.
You do like it.
It's one of my favorite generation games.
That's awesome.
Just because of the fact that it was my first Pokemon event that I went to. So when the game came out, they did a U.S. tour of the game. So they went to each place in the U.S. to demo the game, and that was my first experience going to a Pokemon event.
Wow!
So it holds a special place in my heart.
What was in the demo?
It was about 10 minutes of gameplay. So you started the game, went through the grass, saw Zepstrika. Zepstrika and all not Zepstrika, Blitzel and and the beginning
Rat and Lillipup and So it was the beginning of the game. Did you get to pick a starter?
No. Your starter was randomly given.
Okay.
So you loaded up the whatever starter you had when the game loaded.
Kind of fun.
That is kind of fun. Do you remember which one you started with?
I think I had Snivy, but my favorite is Tepig.
Okay. So did you pick Tepig when you actually started the game for yourself?
Yes, and I named it Pokeboo.
Cool.
Yeah, because the Japanese name.
Yeah, and I kept it Pokeboo.
That's cool.
Nope, I'm not evolving.
Yeah.
Oh, you kept it. That's great.
That's
awesome.
Tepig
is adorable and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But then evolving it.
I think Tepig is my favorite second fire starter. It's as the baby forms, the beginner stages. And I would never evolve.
That's fair.
Never evolve. I love it, man. Bad. That's awesome.
I think Ember is bad.
Yes.
Ember.
Yes.
I mean, this
is the answer.
We were speculating that maybe. Listen, if Ember. Imagine we still get the new selection of starters in ZA and Tepig's one of them. That would be fun.
Yes. Facts.
But then we'd still get Ember.
maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, and then I wanted to let you all know. We'll talk about Ash coming back into the movies in the future would be great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I still think they'll give him his own anime in Gen 10.
That too.
Wow.
I feel like that
his own anime or his own movie?
His own anime.
Yeah, anime or movie for me would be great. So it doesn't.
Man, what a return! What a return that would be.
But we need Ash back because I feel like a lot of the audience has dissipated for the anime right now compared to with Ash.
I mean, they know the metrics and all that, so they'll look at it and be like, okay.
It's a shame if that's true too, because the Horizons is really good.
Yeah, Horizons
I think that there's a lot of people who go, okay, well, I grew up with Ash, and so they they predetermined that Horizon sucks because they liked Ash. You know what I mean? And they're mad. They don't hate Horizons. They hate that Ash isn't there, but they're taking it out on Horizons.
Yep.
I see the sentiment online that the show isn't as exciting, but I'm like, that's also from us adults. I guess I'm just thinking, is the anime doing just as well as any other anime before it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Would be
well,
cool
and also
to know.
too, it's a new anime. How well did the Pokemon anime do when it was brand new? And how well was the Pokemon anime
really
doing
well
towards the end? Because towards the end, the Pokemon anime had a lot of issues.
I'm pretty sure the anime was massive because it was like Pokemania.
Yes. I did I do prefer the original graphics over what they ended up.
Oh, the original art style?
Yes.
Yeah. Some of that is just that's just like a time period thing, though. I don't think we're going back to
the Sun and Moon. But still, if only it could be the X and Y, Unova, that art style, because the Sun and Moon art style, Journeys is better than Sun and Moon, but the Sun and Moon art style was, I'll never forget when they revealed that, and it was like, oh no.
Yes.
People will disagree with you. It's just a different art style. It's a different art style. It's a different style, different taste,
It's mainly the world and the Pokemon look good, but the characters and specifically Ash.
And then the return characters end up looking bad too. Misty and Brock.
Yeah.
That's not Misty and Brock. That's like an alternate universe Misty and Brock.
I know Ash always has weird Pokemon, but his team in Gen 6 really is just a bunch of weirdos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
6 or 7.
his Gen 10 team is epic, or his Gen 6 team is epic, man.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Yes.
They're a bunch of
Are
goofballs,
you
man.
kidding me? Greninja, Talonflame, and Noivern alone, man. Then they gave him a Pseudo and Hawlucha. Hawlucha's the only one that's like a little odd, but I love Hawlucha.
I just don't-
The problem
May-
is just
I
Kalos
don't-
Pokemon. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think I look at them. Maybe what it is like I just don't think they have synergy. Like I don't think these Pokemon look good together. But they are
Yeah,
good.
but
they are
didn't
good
ever
Pokemon.
before. They didn't ever before either. I mean,
'Cause-
my guy had like Squirtle and Bulbasaur and.
What do you mean? That's a
Charizard.
perfect pair.
No,
that
it
was
They're
a
doesn't
literally
bad
evolve.
sort of Pokemon.
I,
See,
didn't-
I
I
feel
was
like
always
this-
like
This has good
this should
synergy.
be evolved.
Yes,
You know?
that's a good team. Right
You got
there.
like the
Yes.
giant Pokemon, then he had a UB, and then he's got all these like little ones, the doggos, whatever.
Oh, I love his Gen 7 team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The craziest thing about the Gen 7 anime is that is probably the most entertaining, and not that I watched a lot before that, but
Yeah.
I just watched it and I was like, I like this a lot, despite the art style.
Mhm.
Anyway,
It is good.
I think that Gen 5 honestly was his worst
Yeah.
team out of them all. His black and white team was bad.
Yeah, the black and white team was kind of like it was similar to not Pokemon, but it was similar to Go,
Yeah.
the trainer, because he just would catch everything. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
it was kind of like it really was kind of a reboot of the Gen 1 anime where he would just catch everything and everything would be unevolved, which I guess is reflected in the fact that he has so many different Pokemon. It would have been nice if some of these could have evolved. You know what I think about the Gen 5 anime, his team in the Gen 5 anime is a lot of basic Pokemon. I feel like there's so many interesting, unique Pokemon in the Unova region.
That's usually how it is, though. It's usually how it is.
No, I would disagree.
Like, you should have evolved
Yeah, maybe
older. He should
sometimes.
have evolved.
This is pretty basic too.
Palpitoad.
Yeah,
He should have evolved Scraggy.
his Hoenn team might be
Yeah.
the best.
No,
Yeah.
I was gonna.
That's a
Like-
good team.
It's a good team.
I like Hoenn team. His home team's good.
Hoenn team's good. Yeah.
It's decent.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these could have evolved. I think also it's like Zeb Striker would have been cool on his team. Conkeldurr would have been great.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had Volcarona.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would
be
be
cool.
There'd be a lot of cool ones.
You
Yeah,
did
a lot of
lose
cool
me
ones.
on Conkeldurr, though.
Yeah.
A little Timber would have been
Samurai.
cute.
A Samurott would have been great. on his
Yes,
team.
dude. Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
but they keep the goofy Oshawott.
Yeah.
Though they already were making Tepig into the goofy Pokemon with Pignite.
No, that
Yeah.
Pignite should have been the cool one. He should have
I
got
don't
an
know if
Embor.
They didn't know what they were thinking.
Should have gotten a surgery.
I'm seeing some new people in the chat. Raise your hand if you want to talk to us. If you want to give us your 2025 predictions. If you want to talk about Gen 10,
Let me,
Legend ZA,
Let me
anything you
leave you
want.
guys with this. I heard you guys talking about the music earlier and musicians and whatnot. I do think that strongly it may. I don't think it's going to be Ariana Grande because of the fact that she just with the Wicked.
Bro,
stuff
I would
going
wish.
on.
I wish, dude. She
Yeah,
literally
I
has an
don't-
EV tattoo.
I
I know
know.
you know that.
I don't think she's gonna be able to do it because she
Nah.
has too much obligations
She's too
coming out.
cool.
That's true.
She's too
Yes.
cool now.
I do
She's got a lot
think
going
Taylor
on.
Swift could be a choice because she just ended her Era tour. That could be a choice because I wasn't expecting Post Malone to do Pokemon stuff, and he ended up. And Ed Sheeran ended up doing Pokemon.
You know
stuff
what?
with
Yeah,
him.
but I think
Not-
Ed Sheeran, I think Post Malone makes sense with the brand. I mean, especially Post Malone. Post Malone is a certified nerd. Sabrina Carpenter,
Yeah.
certified nerd.
I mean, they're all the people that grew up
Yeah.
with Pokemon.
Taylor
that's
Swift-
why it's like it can be anybody.
I'm not seeing
Could be
that.
anything.
That's not her brand. I don't think that's her brand.
Yeah.
Wait, Soul, you mentioned earlier Dua Lipa. Are you aware that Pokemon has already collaborated
Yeah.
with Dua Lipa?
Wait,
they have.
she collaborated with Pokemon Sleep.
Pokemon Sleep. I did not
Oh.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know
they
that.
could do her. They could do her again.
I
That'd
love
be
it,
great.
man. Dua's great.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump out. So
All right, man. Well,
right.
great to
See you,
talk to
man.
you.
Thanks
Great
for
talking
calling.
to you.
And thanks
Yeah,
for the
for
support,
joining,
man.
too.
Appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no problem, guys.
Have a great day.
I actually have to use the bathroom quick. So
All right,
y'all
that
keep
sounds good.
going.
Yeah.
I drank all of this
We
coffee.
got
and
another.
Yeah.
then a whole
If anyone
thing of
wants to
spring
jump
water.
in, raise your hand. I do see
We got
North,
another request.
North
now.
Ender.
Yeah.
I also just want to say, Puff, I see you. If you want to hop in real quick, feel free. I know you're probably at work, but hop on in. That's Puff. That's one of the people
The
from
Magic Dragon.
That's one of the people from Double Slap, the YouTube channel.
Oh, hello.
But yeah, you want to let Northander in? Have you been inviting people in?
No. I when I click invite, okay, invite sent. Okay, so now Northander, I think you go.
How did PZ Hero get in earlier?
Maybe Soul clicked to invite him in?
Okay.
I don't know.
What's up, Northander?
I thought you let him in.
I thought you did too.
How's it going? You guys
Good,
see me
man.
all right?
Yeah.
Yes, we could hear you.
Nice.
What's going on?
Yo, thanks for doing this. Thanks for the pod.
Yeah.
Rad. I just really quick wanted to give one pro and one con, kind of, what you guys are talking about with ports, past generations, and like bank, and home in general. But they've like announced all these like floating like pieces. They just need to connect them. And one of the pros is that some of the mons that you can get in your home right now from 3DS and some of those generations, there's already like Gen 5. People are already talking about like a new console game for Gen 5 that would eliminate like needing to go back to black and white to transfer your Pokemon up. Then also if there is any Gen 7 in PLZA, that would eliminate kind of that game as well. And even further back. So the pro is that kind of look at what would be missing on a Switch console and a Switch 2 console and say, okay, these are probably coming before they close bank, or maybe they announce bank on the 31st of this year is done, because February next year, whatever, there will be every single Pokemon available on both Switch 2 and Switch consoles. The con is that they've created this like huge, massive catalog of memories on your Pokemon, and like, man, I've had this since Fire Red or whatever, and that will be going away unless they introduce ports. But even then, like the nostalgia of downloading a port and like playing it is great, but that there's no like necessarily like, at least for me, there'd be like no emotional like connection to my Charizard that I've had in Hoenn, and that would go away, which I don't know, it's just interesting. So that's a con. But yeah, the pro is you can pretty much say like, here are the next gen games that are going to get remade, or that they're at least going to like give a Legends game to. Because think about it, there's going to be one whole console generation between some of these games if the Switch 2 comes out like this year. In 2025.
So I'm sorry. Could you? I feel like I'm getting lost in the sauce. So you're saying Switch? I think it's kind of things that will happen is Switch 2 comes out, is announced sooner than later, and then you're saying on Pokemon Day, you're saying if they announce ports in the next like 2 years, you're saying the con is that like it's fun to play, but we're still being disconnected from those early save files.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And then what's the pro?
Yeah. The pro is that you can kind of look and say, here's the possibility of what the landscape of new generation games are going to be.
Yeah, okay.
Gen 5.
You have access to all of these experiences. Come get the Switch 2 because you can play in Kanto and Johto and Hoenn and in Sinnoh, right? You can play Sinnoh and Gen 5 with the remake, and you can play a Gen 6 game with Legends ZA, and then you got 8 and 9 as well, which would be massive. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was
getting
at.
I would say for the con, I agree with you, but I don't know. I don't know about you. I replay games, and I still think, I don't know. I think I've just accepted that, like, I don't have my original Pokemon anymore. And I think if I still had my original Pokemon from Gen 3, they would already be in home. And therefore, like, I don't really care about the save file. It's about the Pokemon in the save file, right? So I think the opportunity and why it's, you can interpret it as a con, but I think why it's always a pro is just because of new people coming in, right? And when you want to pick up the game, maybe you played Ruby version or whatever, right? 4 years ago. If you want to pick it up next year, that's like, you will still make memories, right? I remember I hadn't played Black and White 2 to completion until 2019, I think. And now that's my save file that I've had for 5 years, and I have so many memories on there over the last 5 years. I had like 100% of the game. Like, that is my new, like, in my mind, that is my nostalgia. Like, that is my memory and my experience with my copy of White 2. It's that 2019 save file. So I think the opportunity is it's like when you want to experience that game, you don't need to go to an emulator. You can make those new memories, right? And you can have access to those. In my mind, all of the games are always relevant. They're always valid. All of these games are, like when I'm playing Scarlet and Violet, in my mind, I like the Hoenn region is it's bustling. Whatever happens in the Hoenn region is still happening when I'm playing Scarlet and Violet. And when I want to go into Hoenn, I just want an easy way to access Hoenn, right? And when I'm playing Hoenn, stuff in Galar is still happening, right? And so it's like I want access to all these different games.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a really good
do
point.
need it.
Yeah.
Especially as the generations grow, because as there are more regions, there are going to be more time between regions, right? Like between Red and Blue and Fire Red and Leaf Green, it wasn't that many years, right? And even less when you factor in the fact that the Johto games also had Kanto in it, and then the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games also had Johto in it. So there's not a lot of time between Kanto, but that time's going to keep increasing. So they do need to find a way to just make it where every region's playable. Because for me, for y'all, it's like about the game, and that's awesome and super valid. For me, it's like about the region. You know what I mean? Like I love, that's one of my favorite parts about Pokemon is like the exploration of other regions and like traveling the world. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to at any time head over to Campfire Town and Kalos, then go over to Fortree City and Hoenn, and then Ecruteak, and and that readily available, and not okay, well I'm done with Kanto now. Let me grab my other console to do Kalos.
Totally. And I think having access to those also keeps those regions alive in my mind. The longer I go without playing, base, original Gen 2 Johto, it's like the further that, or like the more and more that just dissipates that memory, So anyways, I just wanted to push back on that con a little bit, because I don't think it's necessarily a con, because you will always make, that's my point. You will always make more memories when you want to revisit the region. That's kind of my point. But talk about your Pro a little bit more. I kind of forgot what you were saying. You were saying of the Pro?
It really kind of helps determine and estimate what, I guess in the way Lumi was talking, what regions might be next on the new gen consoles. Because of what he was talking about them being so far apart. And in whenever the Switch 2 comes out, if Black and White hasn't been remade or anything like that, you're gonna have to go back 2-3 consoles to play that game.
Yeah,
because
totally
it wasn't
agree.
on the original Switch. And then if it's not on Switch 2, just to kind of give a little bit of highlight to that, but also in a region sense too, not just a Pokemon in a memory sense. You're gonna have to go way back to play Black and White in any sense. So the Pro, I think, is that it can get a little hype around what regions could be next to get a remake, or even hype towards just ports in general. But I think they do need to create something cohesive, not like a Pokemon world where all the generations are playable in one game, but in general, saying here we have, at some point they have to put all the regions on a new gen console. At some point.
And the Switch 2 could be that. I feel like the 3DS was poised as, or just ended up being, the console that had access to all of these games. Or I guess it was really, I guess it wasn't the 3DS. I guess it was the DS consoles could play every single Pokemon region up to, obviously before the Switch. So maybe the Switch 2, and being backwards compatible, could actually be that console over time. What do you guys think about? So what I'm thinking about is, I was having a conversation offline after our episode last week, and kind of discussing there's, the problem is that there's so many different games that we're just hearing rumors about, and if they are all real, even the ports, it's where do you fit all this stuff? What's the release schedule? That's what's so stressful, because I'm I feel like historically Pokemon games have taken the priority in every single year when it comes to a Nintendo release. But I think what they end up having to do is that once the Switch 2's out, they just kind of start doubling up on releases to get some of these games out before they're too old. And so so now I'm thinking about with the ports, do you think it'd be significant enough, or do you think it'd be too sparse if they were to almost be like, let's say next year they go, guess what? You can now get Red, Blue, and Yellow on the Switch 2. And then a year later, you can get Gen 2 on the Switch 2. A year later, you can get Gen 3 on Switch 2. Do you think
by
1
the time
year
you're at Gen 4 or 5, or at least like by the time you're
like Gen
getting up
13.
there, you've got a new console. I think,
Well,
how
there's
did
only,
they
like-
do it?
no,
'Cause they released Gen 1 and 2 on 3DS. How long did they wait to do those? Because I'd say that's probably
I think there's
very similar.
I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest, the whole like when it releases. I think they just drop it whenever.
okay.
Like I don't think they care about like it needs to be something hyped up
There's
in any way.
probably
They just,
a month of hype in there.
They did actually wait a year between Gen 1 and Gen 2, but I think that was because they were just releasing Gen 1 and 2. I think now it makes sense to, and
Maybe
also
do
Gen
1
1
and
and
2
2 hadn't
together.
been available, in 20 years. They hadn't been released in 20 years. So now it's only been 10 years since they've released. So I think it makes more sense to just go, hey, go ahead and get Gen 1 and 2 right now. And then, maybe they even go ahead and like kind of announce a release schedule. Kind of like, how like when they announce like Unite Pokemon, they'll like have like a little timeline. They'll like show like, oh, this Pokemon's coming right now. This Pokemon will be available September something, and this Pokemon will be related later this year.
Maybe every 6 months.
Like,
I could
do
see that too.
with the games and be like, okay, yellow, red and blue through Crystal are available right now. The Gen 3 games are coming summer of this year. The Gen 4 games are coming fall of this year. Something like that.
Yeah. That would be fun. Just thinking about it. Always thinking about release schedule, because there's so many to put out, and they could juice them. They could really squeeze the juice out of each of them. I feel like Fire Red and Leaf Green could be its own release, separate from Ruby and Sapphire. Emerald could be separate from Ruby and Sapphire.
yeah.
They
could.
be a lot
I don't
to
know.
release.
Yeah, it's just so much. When you start
It
to break it
could
down,
I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm gonna head back to work, but I'm gonna
All right, man.
keep listening. Thanks.
yeah, dude. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Northlander.
man.
Thank you for your support. Happy
Good
New
day.
Year. Awesome. Yeah,
I do think that's kind of a good example, though, like what you were saying of like how you make the release too sparse is like, don't separate Emerald from Red and Blue.
Yeah.
It's already, or not Red and Blue, Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
You need to just keep them in a trio and release like that, I think.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like people really are gonna just pick whatever they grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean,
what their favorites are.
and 10 years ago when they released the ports, like they released Gold and Silver, I bought both of them, and then they released Crystal, and I ended up buying that too. Like they did separate those releases, which is stupid, but I understand why they did it. Right? It's they just kind of copied the original format, but who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe they just I do kind of like them being like, over the next 2 years, all these games are going to come out. I do like that idea, Lumi, where they're like, here's the release schedule. You can get this month. You can get this in 3 months. You can get this in 3 months from then. You can get this first month in 2026,
It also allows them to kind of like reveal without revealing yet. Like to go like, okay, and black and white ports are coming TBA or whatever. And so then it's like, oh, well, they're coming, like, and I think that builds a certain sense of excitement. And then it kind of makes, every time there's a presents trailer, people are like, oh, will they announce the release date of it here?
Wow, that's fun.
Kind of like what we're all doing with ZA right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think I always think about maybe Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, right? There's always a hype around who are they going to reveal next. People know certain things are coming, but it's like, when are they going to come? And then
that would be fun. Release it out of order so we don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it makes sense to go, okay, well, Gym 1, 2, and 3 happen, so next is Gym 4. But instead do, like, drop Gym 4 first.
Or drop Gen 6.
Then drop Gen 1, then drop Gen 6, you know?
Or drop Gen 6 with
That's too crazy for them. I don't think they would do it.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
But
they wouldn't. That would be so much fun, though.
Yeah,
going back to Bram's predictions, they go another shiny mythical Pokemon, another shiny mythical in Pokemon Bank event. Oh, okay, I misread that, but
For ZA, sure.
Yeah, no. So this is what do you guys think about this? So I just did the Meloetta event with Pokemon Home. To do that, for listeners who don't know, you basically had to have the entire Paldean decks for Paldea, Kitakami, and Blueberry, but they all had to be native. The Pokemon in Home had to be registered in Home, but they all had to be native from your Gen 9 game, which was kind of agonizing because I had the Pokemon, but they just weren't from Gen 9. So I went through, I did it, and it felt good. Then I got the Meloetta, and I was a little bit disappointed. I was a little bit like...
So it's like...
deflated.
What is the Meloetta? Is it a shiny?
It's a shiny Meloetta.
Yeah, it's shiny Meloetta.
It's the only way to get shiny Meloetta.
Oh, you must have been in Italy when this happened.
No, I remember it.
I just did it. I just finished it
I was
this weekend.
going to try to do it, and then I forgot.
I think this is what you said, but I just kind of want to make sure I understood it. So it's like Pikachu is in the Paldea Dex, but it won't count my Pikachu from Sword and Shield. I have to catch a Pikachu in Scarlet and Violet for it to catch.
Yeah,
count.
And it has to be
That's
the Pikachu
actually.
in the
That is
Pichu
sucky.
in the Raichu have to be in Pokemon Home. So, but basically they have this Pokedex feature in Home. And I'm looking through all, like, there's basically a separate dex for each game. So I'm looking at Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, right? There's that 151 plus Meltan and Melmetal. So what is that, 153? And and basically I only have like 50 Pokemon registered at Home from those games. The same thing for Legends Arceus, BDSP, Sword and Shield. I think it goes back to Sword and Shield. It's all the Switch games. And when I got the Meloetta event, when I got the shiny Meloetta, the gift box or whatever said, this is the shiny distribution from Home number 1, which tells me there's going to be a number 2. There's going to be a number 3. And I'm wondering, what are those going to be? Will it be retroactive? Will it be for Let's Go? Because it did keep me kind of busy. It did get me playing older games. I guess maybe most obviously, Legend ZA will have a version of this, which is honestly, I welcome it. That's actually kind of fun. That gives me like an extra layer
especially because
of activity.
have any of the Kalos mythicals been released like shiny? I don't think any of them have.
I don't. Yeah, there's Hoopa, Diancie.
No. Maybe Diancie has. I feel like if any of them have, it's Diancie, but I don't even think it has.
You can look it up.
But
Cerebi
it'd be cool, you know. We get a shiny. I'm sure Hoopa is one. Diancie's one.
Yori said that Diancie has.
I was thinking, like, I feel like I have one of those.
So yeah, give us a shiny Volcanion if you collect all the Pokemon and ZA natively.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that is. Pretty cool.
Yori said, but it was only in one country. She thinks.
I think I have the shiny Diancie.
It wasn't big.
I think I have it. Yeah,
Really
the one
limited
country was the United States.
No, there's no way. I can promise you it wasn't the United States.
I don't think it was.
They aren't that kind. Let's see.
No, I don't think it was.
Missing shiny Pokemon. Cerebi. I accidentally said Pokemon, but that's okay.
Make sure you guys raise your hands if you want to speak. We only have so much more time left, so if you guys want to jump on the show, jump on. We'd love to talk to you guys.
So the unavailable shinies from Kalos are indeed just Hoopa, Volcanion. You also could do the Vivian Pokeball pattern.
No, but I have that. That is accessible, and I have it.
No, it is not, because it says right here it's not. So you have a hacked one.
No, I have it. It was a giveaway during X and Y.
A shiny one.
No.
Oh, a shiny
not
one.
shiny.
That's what I'm saying. Like the shiny.
No.
Yeah, I'm talking about shinies.
Sure,
There's
that's
a
true.
shiny
No, that's true. They could do that.
Vivian, shiny Hoopa, shiny Volcanion. All of those are not available.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. I am surprised, like, they didn't do a Paldean Pokemon with Scarlet and Violet, you know? Like, why not do shiny, you know, I don't know, Ogerpon or Petromon, you know?
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe they could do it retroactively. Maybe something that they do is, right, this is a big theory thread. If we get Pokemon ports if they connect to Pokemon Home, if they're on the Switch too, if they do a giveaway, it'd be kind of cool if like, you complete your Gen 2 Johto Pokedex and everything, and all Pokemon in Johto in Gen 2 from the ports are brought into Home. That'd be kind of cool if like that's how you get a shiny Celebi or whatever, right? A shiny something. Same thing for Hoenn. That's how you get a shiny Jirachi. That'd be really cool. And also what that does is incentivize players to buy all of the games and then play the heck out of all the games and keep your Home subscription year long, you know?
I know. I don't have one right now. I need to get one.
Yeah.
You don't have a Home subscription?
No, it expired a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
Will it not
I was gonna do it on
delete all your
Pokemon Day.
Pokemon if it expires?
No, they just sit there. They're just in bank or in Home, just chilling.
Yeah,
you can't
in
look
bank,
at them.
I'm like, I remember back in the day, people would like have bank and then stop paying for it, and it would like delete your account.
Do you remember?
I am very
when
afraid of that.
Bank,
That would suck so bad.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Bank had like when it first released, there were like a ton of it released for Japan first, and there were like a ton of problems with it. And so like it was like this whole big thing. It is like a core memory of mine in X and Y is that Bank released for Japan first. The servers got like super bogged down.
Yeah.
And it became like a whole thing. Also, Yori said that the Diancie shinies were only given in Japan and South Korea.
I have it. Just kidding. I don't know. Looks like Suba's hands up. Let's get Suba in here.
I have it too, and I think it's from a what is it from? What are
up,
those things
Suba?
called?
Hello.
What's up, Suba?
Happy New Year.
Hey,
Happy New Year to you too.
How you been, man? I feel like it's been a while since we spoke.
It has indeed been a while, yes. It's been
What's
a
going
tough
on?
year last year, definitely.
You got any rumors from Galar? Are we getting Sword and
I haven't
Shield
got any-
too?
I've just been patiently waiting for ZA.
Yeah. Dude, you've been creating some really cool art on Twitter about like the new Zygarde forms, potential new Zygarde forms. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you're also working with PokeRaf on a project.
Yes, I have, yes.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing like some trailers and such, which is pretty cool. I obviously I didn't know for a while, but then I had a look. I was like, oh yes, of course, I remember this.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
So yeah, he's using some of my my designs, the bird one and the Triceratops one, I think, if I remember.
Oh, that one is cool. That one is cool. Do you have any predictions for this year?
Obviously, definitely ZA is coming out this year. Yeah. We know that for a fact. Really, I don't know anything else though. They're probably, I don't know. Well, obviously, we are going to see some like something to do. We've had this discussion before. We are probably going to see some more like forms with Yveltal and Xerneas, just like Lumios just said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope.
So, yeah,
we hope.
We hope.
Yeah, no one's really.
Because you never know. It's like we didn't really expect. Well, we did expect Arceus to get one in Legends or Legends Arceus, but they didn't do that.
But we got the Origin forms, right?
Yeah, and people weren't as much expecting Origin forms for them.
Which is cool. I mean, like, I almost hope that happens, right? That we end up with new forms for Xerneas and Yveltal, or we end up with...
it makes sense. Yeah, it definitely makes sense for that, because every time, if they're going to do any more Legends games, there's going to be one for Kyurem. There's going to be one possibly for Rayquaza, maybe in the future.
Dude, that's honestly cool. Not enough people are talking about the Hoenn Pokemon, because they are just as much part of the Gen 6 Mega Evolution, the multiverse. I feel like Oraz in a lot of ways feels like a not a story sequel, but a lore sequel,
like a spinoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
while
taster.
Yeah. While this is happening,
Better Call
this is
Saul
happening.
to Breaking Bad.
It's the House of the Dragon. To
I've
Game
seen
of
neither.
Thrones. I've seen all of them.
I've seen neither of those either.
Yeah, it's the
yeah.
But
it's just
it's
like
the Book of Boba Fett to the Mandalorian.
It's the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Dude, but you know about like Terra League stuff, right?
Yeah, I saw that last year. Yeah, I was like, oh wait,
Okay.
these leaks are huge. I better get to work with these like the beta Pokemon designs,
Yeah.
as visual art.
Yeah, I was just mentioning because of Zygarde's whole thing, and it's like, so Arceus didn't get a form in Legends Arceus, but Dialga and Palkia did, and I'm just afraid that they don't do the opposite, where they're like they give Zygarde a form in ZA and they don't give Xerneas and Yveltal anything. My issue is that like Xerneas and Yveltal don't have anything else. Do you know what I mean?
They don't know.
So like they're part
for
of
their
the only
cocoon and tree form.
Yeah, which are, and Xerneas has
make those like usable
form or whatever, the neutral whatever form it has.
Yeah, so they like sleep in that form. They just like linger around. In the lore, either one awakens each time because they can't like. It's weird because in the anime, in the movie, the legendaries kind of like switch turns in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would make sense. Like if we have all these amazing ideas, but I do think if we just kind of zoom out, I think it would be a pretty safe bet to assume that, yeah, these legendaries either get new forms or maybe more obviously just new megas, right? We get special
makes the most
megas
sense.
or primal forms for these legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, I think
the other. Go for it.
Basically, I think is that they're probably going to go for some sort of form. I don't think maybe megas. I like a mega Yveltal and Xerneas, but I'm not sure. I think they're going to give a mega to Zygarde instead, and they're going to give some sort of other alternative form, which I've designed before in the past for Xerneas and Yveltal.
Yeah, my other thing about them, and I've been thinking about this a lot actually recently, and the other thing is, if Legends ZA takes place after X and Y, then all of the stuff with Xerneas and Yveltal already happened, and it's like you already caught one of them. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, okay, so how is this gonna work? And it's not like, maybe they explain it away with some kind of universal multiversal thing, but I don't know. I'm just like, the thing that would make sense would be megas, because even if you caught them, you can just mega evolve them.
Well, it has happened before with Black and White 2. It is a sequel, and it takes 2 years in the future of Black and White.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking anyway. I was just like, how does this work? How do they get forms? Because I need them to get...
gives me hope is the dash. It's got the red and the blue in it.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, they're going to probably be part of the story at some point, no matter what.
See, but again, that goes back to like how, because like you said, if it is post X and Y, which, I think at this point we're assuming it is. It's not confirmed. But, like, how do they explain, Xerneas and Yveltal are part of the plot, even though one of them should have been caught?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're shiny. There's new ones, I think if we kind of distill the idea of a mega, it's like, controlling the DNA and forcing an even further evolution upon a Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy to take I guess you could go the other direction with the primals, right? The primals are kind of like reverting back in time to a previous state. We do see Xerneas and Yveltal with these like other forms, right? So they either get a primal, or maybe they just get a mega. I think that would be very easy, because it's like if you...
They're the only ones that don't have anything outside of Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Yeah.
So it's just like, dang, come on.
And something else that could be cool, right? I think it's really interesting that like a Pokemon that's not even related to Sinnoh, or a trio that's a legendary trio that's not even related to Sinnoh, gets a fourth member, right? With Enamorus. That would be kind of cool if, like, I don't know, pick your legendary trio for Kalos, and we get a new member for them as well. I'm not saying that needs to happen, but yeah, right? The Tapus would be sick. The Tapus would be cool. We do see the, we do see that the legendary birds of Kanto, those are present in Kalos. Maybe there's a fourth member. I don't know. Probably not, considering we just got the Galarian forms.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I did do a concept last year of a third legendary bird like Ho-Ho and Lugia. No,
Oh,
Ho-Ho and
yeah,
Lugia,
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And the third for Pokemon Bronze, for instance. Maybe we
Mhm.
might see something like that. Maybe like a hidden legendary bird we haven't seen yet that's going to be in maybe Legend ZA. I'm not going to say it is not going to be in it or will be. But it would be very interesting. They have something like that. Maybe even a legend crystal. That would be amazing. A legend
Yeah.
like Pokemon Legends
Yeah.
crystal.
I think they save it for that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I hope that they do that one day. That'd be incredible. I need it. I think it was yours. I'm trying to remember what yours looked like because I've seen a few of those ideas like that. But I love anytime anyone does those. It's like
Yeah.
Johto needs that third legendary so bad, in my opinion.
So
it's
much
the only,
fun.
Like trio that doesn't have a third Pokemon really. I know Suicune isn't really it because it's the legendary of the 3 legendary dogs, and obviously Ho-Ho created in the lore that he created Suicune, but it isn't really an official third legendary, a trio.
Yeah, I always think of it like I like to think of it like Lugia and Ho-Oh are the trio, or not the trio masters, but the masters of 2 other trios, right? You got Lugia with the Kanto birds, and you've got Ho-Oh with the Johto beasts. But I agree with you. I think something needs to be there. Something doesn't need to be there. I think it was just an earlier time, and there wasn't like a standardized format. I think Hoenn, the Hoenn legendaries kind of became the blueprint for a lot of Pokemon games going forward. But that would be super cool. That would be super cool.
Now we could get one.
Man, Xerneas and Yveltal are so cool. I really would love it. I really hope we get some new forms with them.
I will say they're already perfect as is.
They're gorgeous designs. Yeah.
Zygarde's my favorite. Zygarde, you know, is my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, of course.
I actually like the 50% form is actually my favorite form.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
No.
100%.
What is it, 10%? That's my favorite. The dog.
You like the doggo, yeah.
The
you
dog's
like the dog.
good. The dog's so good.
Yeah, the dog
I just think it's a good dog. That's what
favorite.
I want to see more dog Pokemon built like that.
Yeah, I agree. But
so
I love
cool.
the dog. I love the dog one too,
cool.
but the 50% is still
the
best.
Oh my gosh.
They knew that when they released it. They're like, this is the good
Well,
one.
with my designs I did was I did a Zygarde, I think it was 35% form is a crab.
Yeah.
The 75% form is a bird. We have to have a bird of some kind for Zygarde. That's official. Needs to be happen. That really needs to happen in Legends ZA if it ever happens. The 85% form I did was the Triceratops.
Right.
The Rhino one I did. I also did is it the 45% was a shark? If I remember. Yeah, I did a shark.
Yeah.
Zygarde. And the 25% form was a lynx.
Yeah, I've seen that. It reminded me of Luxray.
They're good though. It was fun. It's fun to think of.
It's right here, right? Is this you?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I did another one, which was like another prehistoric dinosaur, the Desperosaurus, I think, the one with the big sail on its back.
Yeah, I thought that was you. That one's incredible.
The crab is
my
awesome.
favorite.
I love the crab.
The crab
They're
is
all
like
so good.
so silly, but I love it.
I love the crab.
And each form has different like stats as well. You got one with more defense, one with more attack, one more special attack. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Man, these actually are like so cool.
The dinosaur one, I don't know if you can pull it up, Dusty, but I love it. Not the Triceratops. I don't even know what that thing's called.
The sail one, it was on there. I saw it.
This one?
Yeah.
No,
if you go back,
it wasn't on that palette there. If you go back,
yeah.
If you go up, if I can see
this?
it.
No,
not that one.
I don't know, man. This?
No, not that one. I didn't do that one.
That was the old one.
No, not that one. Where'd it go?
I did see it too. Maybe it's behind all the.
Yeah, that one's mine.
Yeah.
Maybe if you hit back again.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. Oh, I saw it.
Nope.
If you turn it, go up on your left. That's it. There,
oh, this one right here, 45% form.
Yeah, this I love.
Yes,
that's the one.
Yeah,
because that's one I actually added after I did the other ones.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I
don't know-
definitely hope we see some of these.
I don't know what they're gonna do for ride Pokemon, but like there's that
Yeah.
popular theory that people are like Zygarde will be a
Zygarde
ride
will
with
be
like,
it, sure.
all of the forms, and this would be
A great way to
very
do it.
welcomed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can kind of and also like with Legends Arceus, you're already switching whatever ride Pokemon you are kind of magically. So it would make more sense if like you're just riding your Zygarde, and depending on what action you need to make in the world,
That's cool.
you click
Yeah,
a
I
button
didn't
and
even think
it
of that.
transforms into the flying one, and then it transforms into the running one, and then you transform into the crab, and the crab starts digging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
yes,
a cool
Suba,
idea.
it's so great to hear from you. Glad you called in. Appreciate you being part of this community. Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Hope you're having a good start to the new year.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you.
Mhm.
Talk to you, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure, man. It's
This
a
is your
pleasure.
year, man. This is your year.
It
Yeah, it
is.
really
I
is.
do think. I think about
2025
you
is
loving Zygarde.
the year of
The
Zygarde.
Zygarde, yeah.
Yeah.
It is the year of the
Mhm.
snake as well, so it does make
Yeah,
a lot of
there's
sense.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good to see you, man.
Indeed.
Happy New Year.
Happy Year to you too, guys.
Thanks.
Noivy says, I'm on baby duty right now. I'll hop in 15. I don't know if we're going to be on in 15 more minutes, Noivy. We might have to
Well, we
catch you
can
on a
talk
separate
about
call.
a few other things if you want. We can. There was supposed to maybe be news this week.
Yeah,
With all the hype, we can talk about
Allegedly.
current events.
we could. Yeah.
Was there supposed to be news this week? We heard January. We didn't hear this week.
Yes, true. And anybody else that wants to just interrupt our conversation, just put your hand up. And
Yeah,
we
I mean,
will.
I see a bunch of you guys. You guys have been supporting us forever, so that now's your time to shine. But it's also no pressure if you don't want to actually chat. But we just want to make sure no one's being.
I get it.
We
I don't
just-
like to talk to Soul either.
Yeah, I know, but we have to do this every single week. I just want to make sure you guys don't feel like you're being rude or interrupting or something. Like literally, we're doing this for you guys. So hop on if you can.
Yeah.
Hop on if you want. I'll say that. I'll hop on if you want.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, Soul. How about
This week.
Yeah. So
This week.
give me a. So, okay. I'll set it up. Maybe we'll make this I'll make this its own episode. So let me pull it up.
You can go to Hidden Powers. If you would, it's probably easier. The Twitter.
I don't think we.
Oh,
tweeted.
I guess mine. Has a
I don't
little
think we
more
posted
information.
it. What are you talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about Coup.
What are you talking about?
Oh, cool.
I thought we were talking about Coup. So okay,
yeah, no,
so
we can-
earlier,
right there,
so all right, so yeah, maybe this will be its own episode. Yeah, let's make this its own episode. Is it? You think it's big enough for it to be its own episode?
No, it's nothing big
we
enough for
can
its
we can
own
talk about
episode.
this and the news that was coming this week. So
All
both
right, yeah.
kind of
So
things.
hit me with this. So Coup put up this image of a bunch of waifus, and then I think Machamp counts as a waifu, and it's just nice to see a bunch of Pokemon together. This is the kind of rumor that's like fun because your brain goes,
that's hilarious.
"Are they all getting megas?" Right? Your brain goes,
Yeah.
like, this is what we care about, right? Whether this means anything or not, it's just nice to see
Yeah.
the idea
Well,
of
if
a
they were
bunch of
all getting
Pokemon
megas, I would lose it.
getting megas. Yeah.
That'll be a
yeah.
lot of new megas.
But please
Yeah.
explain this to me because I didn't really know what this meant.
I didn't know either. I don't think anybody did, and it's just like choose. So there's no context at all for the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Can I tell you what my impression of this was?
Sure, go for it.
I do not think that this is anything. I think that sometimes Coup, and I don't think this is wrong per se, but I think sometimes Coup makes a post to kind of just
To bait
just
us a
because
little
you
bit.
know, right? Like because he's aware that everything he posts, people are gonna go Xenos, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Literally, that's
So I think he does that, debate it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're in that phase where, look, I don't think that Valentine's Day deserves its own season, but pretty much everywhere else does.
You
I
cold,
think he just was
cold-hearted
like,
man. What
I
is
think
that?
he was just like, boom.
I think
Choose your waifu. It's Valentine's Day time.
This is so stupid. Yeah.
I don't know.
Who-
I
who's
don't
got
think
a
it's
crush
anything.
He's got a crush on all of these pocket monsters.
He said weirder.
Yeah.
So stupid.
So
All right,
that's
well,
the thing,
okay,
though, is
cool.
tons of people are like it's Mega Machamp because like Machamp's the only one that stands out here. because then there's shinies of other ones. I guess they stand out too, but Machamp's the only masculine kind of one. I guess Cinderace is a little bit there.
I mean,
but,
Milotic's not even like remotely humanoid.
All right, let's change the subject. Yeah.
But that's what it is, though. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We can't change the subject. We're talking about the odd one out. You kind of have to discuss this.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's the only one without legs.
Not to burst everyone's bubbles. So at first I was like, it must be Reshiram too, because it's the only legendary, and he was talking about Black and White remix.
Black and White remix.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, there's other white like shinies here too. There was just like tons of little connections to everything, but ultimately it's the feminine stuff that shines through, because I do agree with Lumi, and I think that's what it is. I think this is a meme. This is a waifu meme that you pick. You just choose which one, because each of them are like, yeah, each of them
are yes. Whatever you're thinking, yes.
Like apparently, there's some joke in China about Machamp being like,
oh, I see
a
it.
waifu mon, being a waifu.
It's Shrek.
And there's also
it's green.
There's also Ditto. Ditto is like can be anything. So
all right, we're gonna change. I'm getting uncomfortable
now. It is like
a
mascot Pokemon for Pokemon breeding.
This is disgusting.
Ditto.
Yeah,
that's what it is, though. That's
all
what
right.
This is. And
yeah,
everyone,
okay, so it's not anything,
including myself. I fell for it as well, because I was like, because it's just like so many Pokemon all at once. And you're like, whoa,
you want to?
It must be one of them. It must be a riddle, but it's actually just a meme.
Yeah.
No, I looked at this. I looked at this, and I just kind of went, "This is nothing. There's no way this is anything."
I saw this, and I was like, "I'll let Soul figure it out. I'll text him tomorrow."
It's like one of those things where it's like, if this is a riddle, I'm not totally
interested.
Sure, I want to know the answer.
Yeah. It's like,
oh my god.
Yeah, you needed to let context happen no matter what, and that's what I was waiting for. But I was like, I'll react to it anyway because everyone else is. The other. So that's basically nothing for that. Sadly, a lot of people are going to be like, it's Mega Machamp, and maybe there is a Mega Machamp, but I don't know if that's a hint.
That was one of my predictions for Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a hint to it. I think that was Coup being Coup.
Something else that happened on Monday, or I guess it was Sunday night. The official Japanese Pokemon account, they pinned the Pokemon Legends EA trailer to their profile. And this was spread around, and we were having fun thinking about it. And the kind of assumption was like, why are they doing this? Why would they pin this all of a sudden? We're going, the new year has begun. Could we get a new trailer soon? Could there be some sort of announcement? Us three had a little group chat, and we were pretty excited. We kind of treated it like Code Red and prepared our week for if we did get news. We were thinking maybe today, maybe tomorrow. One of the other little connections was that Pokemon X and Y were announced on January 8th, I believe.
8th, which will be tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. So that's exciting to think about. After
12 years ago.
Yeah, a couple hours went by, and then I think people started realizing.
There's another thing too.
Well, so a couple hours went by, and people started realizing like, oh, the Japanese Pokemon account changed their pinned image and their banner to promote the shiny Rayquaza, and then that had concluded, and that's why they changed everything back to Legends EA. And probably this just means nothing. I still think we're getting a trailer soon. That's a pretty cold take, but
so
it's coming.
I'm no longer a believer.
The thing about this is like so many people are like, don't spread this misinformation of this, and I agree. Like you should always put it like pose it as a question because you don't know,
right?
But the thing is like I told you guys, like I'm already expecting something in January, so like I'm literally
Man was
preparing
so sure he took off work.
Yeah.
Like
I'd already taken off work this week. Not all the way, but some work this week because I was like, something might happen this week. But next week, something might happen next week. I'm like, I told my work, I'm like, listen, the month of January is going to be like flexible for me. so that's basically it because I'm not hyping up this specifically. This was just like a signal that possibly something could be happening.
Believed it, man. I believed it. In isolation, it was pretty exciting. I really thought.
I mean, I had already known that, like, I'd already known they've had that pinned before. Like they've pinned it before and nobody freaked out. The only reason is because we're so close to something. So it's like, okay.
Listen, I tried to predict it, guys. I told you guys days ago, like the next Legends EA trailer is going to be on Pokemon Day. We will get a Pokemon trailer on Pokemon Day.
I agree with that, though. The thing is, I've been trying to tell everybody as well, and I said it here before, is that this all again stems from Ku. It all again stems from Ku. Like, he's the one that said there'd be something in January, because if he didn't, then I probably wouldn't be expecting anything in January.
Sure, okay.
So because he said that there's something in January, and the something he said is merch or pre-orders.
Yeah.
And he didn't say a trailer. And people like run with it to be like, it's a trailer. It's going to be the trailer that we're all waiting for. And I just am not convinced that that's what it's going to be. Like, we're so close to Pokemon Day that why would they do that? Other than there's a ton of other reasons why they would do it, because we've already talked about it in our predicting episode. But yeah, so there's still a possibility for tomorrow, because it is the day that that X and Y were revealed 12 years ago or whatever it was.
That would be fun.
So
I would say anytime we talk about releasing something on like a significant date, I feel like it never comes true. Even though it's awesome. If it would,
I literally have typed that out.
But they did do it with Diamond and Pearl. With Diamond and Pearl, they dropped a trailer for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus on Diamond and Pearl's
the first one,
15th anniversary. The first
Diamond and Pearl. If they were
on its anniversary.
Oh wow!
But see, this is a reveal anniversary, so it's not even like an anniversary. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
If they were cool, they would do it. But
yeah, I think it's fun.
I'm just like literally like. Yeah, but Game Freak usually does not care about the like dates of things.
Yeah.
Like they usually just drop things whenever. Yori says something important, and it's like, well, it was supposed to be starter merch, and they can't do starter merch without revealing the starters. So it's like, yeah, I think Ku did say it was something about starters. Remember, the whole thing was like, we know the starters.
Like, there's a twist that we know because of merch or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. He said that we would know the starters by the end of 2024, and then that got delayed. He was like, well, it didn't happen, so it's going to happen in January probably. So I'm like, that's what we've talked about it here, and Lumi made the best point ever, is that it could just be box art with the starters on it and like pre-order now, because people don't remember because it was so long ago, but Legends ZA was announced a year ago almost.
Yeah.
Like the official, it was revealed. It's been revealed. They don't need to do anything else. They can release the game whenever they want. Like we know it exists. So
yeah, we know it exists. I do think that I do feel like because they've waited so long, I do think whatever they put out next has to be significant, or at least positioned in a way where it's like, yeah, this isn't. They're not going to shadow drop a trailer. It's like we've been waiting 11 months.
So
yeah.
I found
they're not going to shadow drop a trailer.
No.
But before you read that, Lumi, like Dusty said, they're not going to shadow drop a trailer, like a big trailer. I don't think. That would be really unprecedented. But
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, but
it would be dumb. But that's why they would do it.
Before you read Ku's stuff, as I've said on this podcast, my faith in whatever his source is for the timing of these things is just not strong at all. And like, to be honest, in the past he hasn't been known for getting like trailer dates or anything like that right. Or even he hasn't even said anything about them, to be honest. He doesn't usually dive into like, we're getting news here or we're getting news there. He usually is more about the content of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that source is strong, whatever that source is for the content of the game. But whoever's giving him information about when trailers are coming and stuff, so far it has not panned out. And so my faith in it is very, very low, even though I'm taking off work.
And it makes sense too, because like if he's getting his information from, hypothetically, a guy working on the translating of the game. If you're a guy working on the translating of a game, you don't know the trailer dates. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless you're translating like for a trailer specifically. You know what I mean? Like if I'm building a game, I probably don't know, oh, we're doing a trailer January 8th, then February 27th, then April 14th, then I probably don't know that, But I do have his little tweet here. He first posted the world's art where it has the starters, and he said, "Say hi to Ikaku." Ikaku is the code name for ZA. And then he said, "Don't worry, something is different." Merchan is what he put. He put Merchan. I don't know if that was a typo and he meant to put merch and something, but anyways, he put Merchan on sale since January next year.
Right. And if you go back even further than that, way further than that, he was talking about like we're going to get the starters revealed, like don't worry, before the end of 2024. And that's this whole this whole thing.
And that's my thing too, is I'm not saying I don't trust the guy. I think he genuinely has inside information, but look, let's say for one, there's the chance that this specific source, like you said, Soul, is wrong. But then also there is the chance too that, okay, it was supposed to be November or October, whenever it was, but then it got delayed. Who's to say it didn't get delayed again? Who's to say that it got delayed to January? You know, maybe he's just assuming, oh, they had planned for it to be before Pokemon Day. So it's because I do think that's something with Kutu, is I think that, you know, I think I appreciate what he does to bolster our hype and conversations around games, but I think Ku has a bad habit of assuming something and then passing it as fact.
Yeah.
And I think he assumes it based on logic. Like, I don't think he just kind of thinks, there's going to be a Mega Dragonite. There's a Mega Dragonite. I think he goes, like, there's a logical way he gets there, but it's like, it's not 100% fact, you know?
Yeah.
He bases it on logic, but you have to base things on Game Freak logic a lot of times. Game Freak logic.
Game Freak ain't logical.
It's a whole nother thing.
24-hour live stream for a pony.
What's up, Noivy? How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
Pretty good. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What have you been up to, man?
2024 sucked.
2024 sucked, man. It was a lot of nothing.
Well, Pokemon wise.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, of course.
I'm glad we're in agreement on this, because I'm like one of the few people that's out here just like, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
The Terra League was fun, though.
It was fun.
It would have been better if we got maybe one trader of CA.
Right.
And
yes,
I don't know, maybe
just
6
all
out of 10 of the year.
Even like even just like another teaser would have been cool, right?
Yeah, even a tweet of like, okay, we're not gonna reveal anything this year, and
yes, like let us
that
know.
Okay, thank you. I'm like
for the acknowledgement.
It's
like great. I won't waste my time every single week, but they probably want us to hype up and speculate every single week. They probably.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, just so that people will come look at my content.
Yeah. You know what I mean? People show up to the podcast every week.
Oh, there's nothing. So we're not gonna even think about Pokemon.
They could have given us the freaking box art, though.
I know, right?
Like, do it like Legends Arceus, where no trailer, just shadow drop the box art, which is kind of what I'm expecting for tomorrow, if anything happens.
Yeah, I'm showcasing right now the it's like a 3D mock-up of the Switch 2 with the Legends ZA game. It's kind of like a bundle, a Switch 2 bundle. This is created by our friend Cardinal. And you're totally right. They could have showed us the box art. That would have been sick.
Yeah, something to keep the fans on. Keep on talking about the game or something. I don't know.
Even if they just dropped like a random character, just like I don't know, not a gym leader, but like, you know, whatever character that's like maybe like a C level of importance, and then describe what they do. I don't know. Like even that I could like spin up into things, and it could give us additional context.
Maybe a silhouette or something like they did with Gen 5 or something. I don't know. Like okay, here are starters. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
the thing about the box art that we're not mentioning is that unless it's like just the logo like that we've had the entire time.
Yeah.
You can know so much about the game just from the box art.
You're right.
Legends Arceus one has the starters on it. You would know the time period. I mean, all those things were revealed beforehand.
Yeah. Let's assume it's like Legends Arceus, where you just get the box art and it's the same kind of thing as Legends Arceus. That means you would know the time period and what the trainer looks like, and that's how you would know the time period as well, like who it is, what they look like, and the starters.
That's clearly a Serena ancestor or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, and you would know the starters.
Yeah.
So there's just so much that and the release date, obviously.
I'm gonna like change the subject now. This is the first time I talked to Dusty like I don't know how many times, but this is the first time I talked to you, to both of you, to Dusty,
yeah,
to
it's true.
Lumi,
Is that true?
Yeah,
it is true.
So.
When you just came on, I was like, oh, we haven't spoken before like this. Actually, I thought.
Yeah,
about it
I didn't even realize that until you said it, because like we talk like DMs and stuff. And, of course, you're a part of our team.
Oh my god, yeah, I didn't
building
even
all
think
of our amazing merch. But
thank you.
Which, by the way, I'll pull up the merch store right now.
It's because always you record on Tuesdays, so Tuesdays it's I have baby duties. Well, I have baby duties all the time, but on Tuesdays my wife works, so I have the baby, and so I don't want to be on the podcast with the baby singing around me or something.
That would actually be pretty good. That would be pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So also, I don't. This just brights up my day. The other day we were at Costco. And my daughter just turned 2, and there was a Pikachu Squishmallow, or I don't know the brand. Like it was a big pillow of Pikachu, and she goes, Pikachu, and oh my god,
that's so awesome, man. That is awesome.
Anyways,
that's magical.
She knows.
Anyways, so are we thinking? I think I said maybe a comment or on a live or something that to Soul that Legends Arceus was Pokédex focused, and maybe in Legends CA will be battle focused. Do you think we're gonna get, well, since megas are involved, I don't know how are they gonna work that stuff around, but maybe some, like we get sky battles, we get, I don't know, rotation, triple.
That would be cool.
Like maybe building the first battle factory or the first whatever, because we have in Kalos we have the battle mason, the battle something.
The Maison?
Yeah.
The Maison.
We also have the battle chateau.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, maybe they through the story they explain how, like, Legends Arceus was all about just like surviving and realizing that you can partner with Pokemon, and if Legends ZA is about building up the city and actually working together and really developing that relationship, that newfound relationship with Pokemon, part of that would be battling. That's actually a really cool idea. And then maybe for all the people who say, Legends sucks because you can't battle, maybe you can battle. Maybe it's actually, no. That will not become the main format, but that is cool.
No, the only issue I have with that is that the mainline games, which Legends is a mainline game, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are like very battle focused, like all of the VGCs played there, and like Legends Arceus, that was the point, but that's like the whole like mechanic of Legends. Like I don't think that the mechanic is going away, you know what I mean? So like catching is still going to be a huge part of it. Like that's like the majority of it, unless like the battling is more action based is what I'm thinking, because the whole Legends like series name thing is definitely about the gameplay style is what I'm thinking now. And so it's the catching mechanic, but it's also the action RPG elements. So I think action RPG is what they will focus on more. This is all speculation, obviously, but I think that that's what it'll go into more. So I could see them being like, oh, you have to face this mega, but you will like have to do more action movement and, to like defeat it instead of like RPG, even though there will still be RPG elements.
I look at Arceus like at the base game of a Legend style game. So they were just testing the waters. Like, okay, all you have to do is catching. You battle 3 trainers. That's all. Now we're gonna add some battling, because if you add megas with the same, let's think Legends Arceus, it's gonna come now. Like that's the same game, the same battles. You add megas, you don't have anything to battle with. Like you get, and even if they are the outrage Pokemon or something, you only have 5 or so, whatever.
Yep.
So
No, I totally agree.
they have to get or to do or put whatever more trainers around the city, so you can test or whatever you want to do with megas.
It's really crazy because I haven't really thought about it, even though I've tweeted about it so much, but I haven't actually literally thought about how, because I haven't thought about Legends Arceus that much, but how little you battle in Legends Arceus, and like really how much Mega Evolution has to do with battling, and just how do those two really come together. And it really makes me think that, like what we were talking about with Grape Ape, is like that something's gonna have to change in some way.
Yeah, and they were trying to do something with the optional battling or something, because in Scarlet and Violet, you only do battles with Nemona or people like that, but there are trainers scattered throughout the region, and I wanted it to be like, okay, you see me, I want to battle, but I didn't battle anyone, so I don't know.
I hated that so much.
Yeah,
I think I missed out on a lot of trainer battles just because of that, because I didn't know where they were, and if I had battled them already, or like.
I hardly battle anyone in Scarlet and Violet because it's not required.
Hopefully, if Gen 10 is open world, which honestly I kind of think it will be, but if it is, I hope that they master it. You know what I mean? Because I kind of give them some grace with Scarlet and Violet purely because it's their first true open world game. But
it's easy to
they gotta work on some stuff.
They have the basis. I think what's most important is that they need to give us like significant experiences or specific experiences in objectives throughout the region. I think right now the region just feels so bare, and I don't know, when I'm roaming I've been roaming Paldea recently, and the most exciting thing is when I forget that I've unlocked a legendary and I just stumble upon a Ho-Oh or I stumble upon a Latios, and it's shocking, right?
Yeah.
That has actually
legendaries are cool.
But I mean, yeah, you can do legendaries, but you can do other things as well. I think in Arceus, a way that they achieved that level of like experience is through the alpha Pokemon, and I could see Megas fulfilling that role in Legends ZA, right? Where you just have this enraged Mega that just is somehow Mega'd in the overworld, and that's the challenge you have to overcome.
Yeah, but did Legends had? I don't remember. I know Shaming and Darkrai were static encounters, but I think Manaphy also and Arceus. But
all of the mythicals and legendaries, I think.
But the genies were, well, I'm not gonna call it roaming, but they were not.
Yeah, they kind of were. Yeah, they would move around, and they
were kind of roaming.
And they would beat you up. Like, you'd go to approach them, and they'd either run away or they'd attack you.
The best thing they could do is do the Galarian birds style in Sword and Shield. That there was an area where they could run or something, but you will encounter them random. Like, there was a Zapdos running around, I don't know, around the tree or something. Well, no.
I do think they should do more roaming. Roaming ones are fun. I think they should do more of those. But I do like the static ones that they did in Legends Arceus too. Like, I loved going to actually find the legendaries. They do
like
good
the
with
Ruinous
legendaries.
Quartet was great. Where you have to kind of where they all are, but you have to find stakes to unlock them. I loved that.
I wish with the sticks they like made each of them they all had sticks. I almost wish they were like different items for each of them or something, or I wish there was a
I get
puzzle,
what you mean.
a way I could like learn how to find them. It truly was just a random scatter game.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah,
and I also had no way to.
I enjoyed that though.
But
It felt
I
very
had no way
Reggie-like.
in game to track what my progress was. Right.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
true.
yeah.
They
You're
should
right.
have that.
You're right.
Because
Yeah.
I got,
Like
I
even
tried
if
to do
you
it.
just went back to Rifer and she was like, "Oh, it looks like you found 4 of this
Yeah.
color
just
and
accounting.
5 of
Or
this
even just
color,"
something
you
in
know?
my decks or something. Because I feel like
Sure.
my goal was to just find them all organically or just by myself without using a guide. And I couldn't do it. And I was like, this is stupid.
The only
I mean, I
thing
pretty-
they
I
did
pretty much
is
did.
depending on the amount you got, like I think there were 8 for each one, and when you'd get 2, a chain would be removed from the seed.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay.
So there
That's
was
nice.
kind of a way, but it still wasn't an exact number because if one chain was removed, you have either found 2 or 3 because they're not going to remove the other chain until you found your 4th, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Something that Paldea didn't do so well was hidden routes or hidden something, because if you go down the road, like even so, I don't know, like Gen 7 or something, you were searching in a cave or something, you go down a hole and then you encounter I don't know, like a Moltres or something. In Paldea, everything's exposure, even the caves.
Yeah.
You don't have any route to go or something. So if you're gonna do a standing encounter or something, give it more I'm not gonna say lore,
Personality.
but yeah. I don't want to encounter Lugia in, I don't know, like just
No, I agree
the
with you.
ocean
I think
there.
Scarlet and Violet
Like-
in general, a lot of the things that I see in the overworld that should be interesting end up not being as interesting because they're just copy and pastes from something else in the region. I think of I think those chains or those pillars, whatever those things that you collect for the Ruinous Quartet is an example of that. Another thing that I always think about is the ruins that are and the watchtowers throughout the region. I'm like, none of this is interesting because there's not really a history here. These don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They're just copy and pasted.
It took us like 2 years to find out what those were.
Yeah, but it's like, and
officially.
even that, it's like we're trying. There's no context within game. Jake in the chat did make a. He did make he made a point about Scarlet and Violet feeling less barren during the main campaign because of the Titans and Team Star and the gyms and all the NPCs, and that's probably true. Yeah. We got people raising their hands now. We're at about 2.5 hours. I feel like we were gonna end about a half hour ago, but I want to get to your Noivi. Do you mind if we get to these other people? We gotta.
No, yeah.
I want to let everyone else
sure.
talk who wants to talk.
Thank you for having me.
course.
Noivi, don't even thank us.
gonna-
Thank you for all your help in this last year. And
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna thank you. No.
well, thank you too.
Thank you, Noivi.
Thank you, Noivi.
Before I go, I'm gonna throw out it's more like maybe a question or not. What's coming to Hidden Power in 2025? Like
Good question.
podcast wise. Yeah, like we know
Junichi
we're gonna get
Masuda.
guests.
Oh, for a guest?
We know we know we're gonna get new guests and everything. But what's like, do you think you want to do in 2025? Maybe a live show, maybe, I don't know, you guys like talk.
The live show.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments right now in chat suggesting hot tub streams. So if that needs to, everyone seems to really want that.
I
in the
don't
chat
have a
right
hot
now.
tub.
Well, I'm out. Thank you for everything,
I will
guys.
say this.
Thank you, Noivi. Yeah,
I will
we'll
say
answer. We'll
this.
answer.
There is a guest that obviously, like you said, there's going to be new guests. But I will say this to tease 2025. There is a guest that we haven't scheduled a date, but we've already confirmed with said guest that it's happening, and it's pretty big.
Don't say anything else.
I can't say anything.
You've already
else, but
spoiled
it's
it.
I thought this was going to be a joke.
Yeah, I was
He
too.
was lining it up for the joke.
Soul may not even know.
Yeah, Lumi's like,
I
Lumi's
don't
like,
know actually.
Ku will
And
be
it's
on the
Janice
show.
Masuda.
Yeah.
It is, in my opinion, it is Masuda and Ku level. Is it Masuda or Ku?
Dude, you know what? All right, I feel like Lumi already revealed it, so I guess I'll just say it. It's Jake. Jake's gonna be on the show.
Big surprise.
Sorry, yeah, that's the big surprise.
Thank you, Noivi. We're just waiting for Legends CA.
Yeah, so
official news.
I guess I can
Really
hint
more
a
than
little
anything.
bit about that.
Our
yeah.
coverage of that's gonna be insane.
Yeah,
we can't wait.
We're still kind of like planning the details of, but I when that happens, we've been setting everything up. So like, there's gonna be a lot of content, a lot of like specific discussion podcasts. I kind of envision creating kind of these like smaller roundtables for specific parts of the game. And those roundtables will include friends, people who have been on the show, people who have not been on the show yet, but are just like have a really unique perspective or are good at the analysis. And so we're trying to figure out the details with that. I also plan to live stream the entirety of Legends ZA on the channel, so that'll be available as well. I'm sure Lumi might be doing something similar on his channel. I'm not sure. And then I would say...
No. Me and Lumi are like...
No. Okay. All right.
I'm not... I don't even know
doing
how
a
long
lot
I will
coverage
be
of
spoiled.
theories and lore stuff
Yeah,
in it
yeah.
on my channel, but not. Speaking of which, my channel is very close to 10,000.
Oh,
subs,
yes,
and I
we
very
wa-
much
we wanted to
appreciate
say
y'all
that.
having me there.
Freaking 10,000.
Lumi
Get
needs
in
like
there.
he needs like 100 more subs, and he'll be at,
119, I think is the number.
so his link
Let's
is in
face
the
it, he's
description.
gonna get there anyway.
So
but,
go subscribe to Lumi. His link is in the
faster the
description.
better.
But yeah,
please.
I think we also want to. I have a list of guests that I'll probably be doing podcasts with, in the next couple months, and I just want to rip through that list to get them on the show. It's tough to schedule 4 or 5 people at a time, so I end up just being like, let's record a little episode. Let me just reach out to this new like that. That's kind of what happened with AOK Craig last week. I was just kind of like, let's do an episode, right? I've been watching your stuff all year. Let's get an episode out. So you can expect more of those. Gen 9 tier list is on the horizon. I think I'd like to do more of the type deep dives. We haven't done one of those in about 6 months. And those are fun. I feel like
this is random, but recently I just made a bug tier list just because I wanted to.
oh my
So,
god.
you know.
Good job.
Listen, maybe
The bug
that's
type.
so maybe
So,
that
like-
maybe that's something we do. Maybe that's something we try. People have always been like, what are you going to do now that you're done the tier lists? And
I also really loved our tweet that blew up about like what the best games on Switch were as we're swan songing.
Swan.
The Switch. Songing is a weird word. But yeah, so
It's
like
a weird word.
just reviewing and kind of like ranking each Switch game, like
Yeah.
Pokemon game, would be kind of fun too.
No, that would be cool. I think I feel like it's been on our master sheet for like 2 years to do
Yeah, we have tons of
retrospectives.
ideas. Mhm.
To do retrospectives, but I think the difficulty there is that like not all of us have the game fresh in our minds. You know,
Yeah,
so like
true.
so it's like how
Yeah.
accurate is the retrospective? But we might need to just start doing those, and then through the episode we kind of like remember and reflect. I mean, it's a podcast, so it is different than like a true retro. You know, I'm honestly fine with that. Most retrospectives end up just being like reading the Wikipedia. So like
It's also
if our
our style anyway.
yeah, it'll be a podcast, so it's going to be more like
Yeah.
figuring it out and discovering what we like about elements of the game live, like on the podcast. So, yeah, to answer your question, Noivy, I didn't even realize he logged off. That is what we'll be doing in 2025. Yeah, but all right, we got 2 more people, Jark and Lycan. We got to get to you guys, and then we do got to bounce soon. We're getting near to 3 hours.
We're on the struggle bus.
Yeah, so
I'm like shaking.
yeah. So
Stay active.
yeah, I don't even know where you guys are, or how to even invite you guys.
Top right, I think.
I got it. I believe Jark was first, so I'm gonna invite Jark first.
All right. What's up, Jark?
Hello.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm not gonna waffle for too long because I've got a sore throat right now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I was just hearing
Shoot.
Noivy talk about the roots in Scarlet and Violet,
Yeah.
and I need to get this off my chest. if they're going ahead with open world Pokemon, they need to tone down the amount of overworld encounters and bring back like surprise encounters.
Oh,
random encounters.
Oh wow.
I agree.
Reinvent it.
100%.
I want to be able to walk into an area and not see a single Pokemon, and then if I go up to like a thing of bushes, I can see a bunch of like tails sticking out and things like hanging out of trees, and if I get too close, they'll just like jump me. I think searching and catching Pokemon would be 10 times more fun if you can't just see it walking around. You actually have to like know where its nest is and where it lives and like where it's gonna hide. You know?
No, I actually love that
better.
so much.
I agree with you. It's crazy though. It's actually crazy, and it's out of the mouths of babes. Let's just say it. But
what does that even mean?
It means
wait. What did you just say?
A little one.
It means that Jark is like 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
No, but it was just a slight joke because I had to. But no, it's actually crazy because you're younger, right? You're not that young, but you're younger, and it's crazy that like our generation wanted like to see all these Pokemon in the overworld, and now we're like kind of going backwards, and I think we will go backwards to the point where people will be like, we need the random encounters back because it's actually good. They should just do a mix somehow. I don't know.
I think
that's what they had in Sword and Shield. They had a mix, and that was good.
It was good. Jark, I think what you isolated there is the idea of like discoverability, right? Being able to like actually explore and then be rewarded for that exploration. I think and maybe that's the problem with Paldea, where right when we're complaining about its open world, there's nothing to discover because you can't see anything in the distance, and when you actually reach an area, everything's just out in front of you immediately. Right? There's actually nothing to discover. You can't even I think people complain about going into not being able to go into houses in buildings because again, there's nothing deeper than what you see on the surface. There's no caves that go deeper. You can't go into a building. You can't even talk to NPCs. They just say whatever they want to, whatever they're going to say. You just walk near them and you already see it. That's honestly, you might have like isolated the most troubling and annoying thing about Paldea and why like a lot of people don't feel connected to it, right? There's not even a shiny sound. There's not even like a discovery sound when you find a shiny where it's like reward. Like there's no reward for discovering anything. That's crazy.
You know why that is though, right? You know why that is.
No, I know why. Yeah, because
it's because Pokemon are spawning in the walls and the floors.
Yeah, I know.
They can't do a shiny sound, or you'd be walking in here, and you wouldn't be able to see it.
I didn't know that. That's terrible.
I really think that's the case.
I actually don't think that's why. I think they wanted you to. This is kind of on this topic actually, because you don't see the like rustling of the grass and then be like, I wonder what that is. Yeah. Like that's a feeling that's really special, but also it's annoying at the same time sometimes because you go in and you're like, oh, I didn't want this. But they wanted, I think, to replicate that same thing with shiny Pokemon, where it's like, oh wait, is that a shiny? Like, you're like surprised to see it,
and you're
I guess the sound, but it's shiny, so it's like the chances of that happening is.
But even just a rare Pokemon, right? It doesn't like the shiny is the rarest.
Shiny.
But for a normal player, like finding a whatever Baxcalibur's first stage is, that ugly monster, like that's like finding a Bagon in the wild is a reward. It's a surprise. It's an isolated moment, right? That you have that I'll never forget finding a Bagon in Meteor Falls for the first time, right? And I feel like I don't have any of those moments in Scarlet and Violet. Like none, except for the legendaries.
The shiny sound should be a thing only if the Pokemon is like within like it's on your screen. You know what I mean? So it's not, if it spawns behind me in Legends Arceus, it does the shiny sound and I turn around and I see the shiny. I think it should be only like when your camera.
Oh, sure. Like maybe it's back there, but then as soon as I see it, it presents to you like, okay, this is something.
Because then it's
kind of cool.
Kind of like what it is, where it's like, is that a donate? Oh, it is. You know.
That'd be nice. Yeah. No, Jark, I love that so much. I love that.
Yeah, what I miss a lot is like, I don't know if this is actually a thing or if I'm just making this up. I feel like in past games, you'd have Pokemon that could only spawn in like certain patches of grass on a route, and they'd be like a rare spawn.
Yeah.
You could be looking in the wrong patch of grass, you just wouldn't catch it. Of like bringing that into an area where a Pokemon like has like a den.
Yeah.
And it can only spawn near that, and then like if you find it, it will run back, and you only have a limited time where you can catch it before it goes in.
And I think some of those things. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I was talking to Yuri about this the other day. They should have stuff like you're walking around, and they'd just be like a rock slide of like graveler just like coming down a mountain.
Wow.
And you can throw a Pokemon and catch one, but if you don't, they'll just go past and then like despawn. But it's just a thing that happens, you know?
Yeah, there's things really... in Paldea that kind of, I think, on paper try to attempt what you're describing. Like I think about like on the hills, there's like Rolling Dawn fan, right? For example, there'll always be these these patches, these hordes of Pokemon that are like doing something that they should natively do in their environment. But I think functionally, it's not the same sense. Like at the end of the day, these are games, and there is a little bit of like an algorithm to this, or there's a little bit of like math or science to making a game enjoyable. And I think the closer you get to realism, right, the further away you get from that sense of wonder, right? Like from the medium of gameplay.
There's a level that Pokemon hasn't reached yet, and once they do reach it, it's gonna be like crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a level of immersive, like
I think they've reached it in the past. I think Legends Arceus tickles a little bit of that. I think some of the older Pokemon games tickle a little bit of that. But I think as they've like what you're saying, I think they've as they've gotten more and more realistic, or like they've tried to flesh out and make the worlds feel a little bit more to scale, you lose a little bit of that, right? Playing back Scarlet and Violet this last couple weeks, Sword and Shield. Well, playing both of them, honestly, and comparing them, Sword and Shield is so cool because the game is constantly like there's a magic to not actually having full control of the game, because the game is able to like present the world to you how it wants to present the world to you, which is nice, right?
And that's true. They're going anywhere in Scarlet and Violet is kind of Yeah, I don't want to take up too much more time, but
no, I'm glad you called, man. It's good to talk to you.
We always like when you join up.
I want to feel like I'm actually like hunting for a Pokemon again, you know?
I love
I don't want to feel like I'm just walking in
100%.
and waiting for something to spawn. I want to look for it. I want to search.
I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. You talked about I think you said sizes, or you talked about rare Pokemon, and I think even though there's like spawning in and out in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think there were like a lot of visual indicators on top of layered on top of the overworld Pokemon that kind of gave that effect, right? If it was a large Pokemon, it would have like a swirling aura. A small Pokemon, the same thing. If it was shiny, there was a sparkling aura around it. And I guess, and you know what? Also, there was almost like this. There was a level of what would the word be, like tension when you're playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, when you're shiny hunting, let's say, or as you're going through the world. If something appears, I feel like it's a ticking time bomb before it disappears. Even when you enter battle, it might flee, and you'll lose the rare Pokemon, you'll lose the shiny, whatever it might be. And I feel like that's not present in Scarlet and Violet at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can kind of like just get soft locked with Tauros running into you every time you try and quit a battle.
Yeah, but
as you watch
I love that,
shiny
Jark.
Just run away.
Yeah, Jark, thank you so much for hopping on. That was a really good addition to this.
Have a good day at kindergarten.
Thanks, man. I've just spent a full day at university. I've been up since like 6 in the morning.
Oh, shoot.
And by university, he means pre-K.
That's pain.
We'll get some rest, man. Happy New Year.
See ya, man.
Bye.
Who do we got? Lycan next?
Mm-hmm.
Are you adding them, Lumi?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying that like you were going to. My bad. Here you go.
I don't even know where the thing is.
You have to it's the hand at the top right, and you click invite to send on them, and then they accept the invitation. But you are live, Lycan.
Hello.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Hope you guys are having a good New Year's.
Oh yeah.
And there's actually just 2 things I wanted to bring up. One was DS, Virtual Console, and previous Pokemon title like Ranger. We're talking about Conquest and stuff like that. Maybe be announced sometime this year. And then they're bringing Mythicals to like side quests, especially since in Legends Arceus we had the Manaphy side quest, Darkrai
Mm.
side quest, and now with Scarlet and Violet at the end we have the prologue with Petra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they do need to
I
do
think-
more of those.
Do you,
Yeah,
yeah, do you
and
want
Yeah, I
you
think.
want more?
Sorry. Yeah,
No,
and
go
I
for
think it brings back the magic of things like the Eon ticket, the shaming, and things like that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It just brings it back.
No, I
No,
totally
I
agree
agree.
with you. I think what you're touching on there is kind of what we were just talking about before with the with the special or with the special encounters. I really think a lot of what's missing in Scarlet and Violet is the reward for exploration. And I feel like I just feel like as you go through the region, it's just everything is either handed to you. Everything that you see is for face value. There's nothing to dig into further. So the idea of a side quest is exciting because it's an optional thing. And if you choose to do it, you are automatically ahead of the curve, right? If your neighbor or whatever, your friend, whoever you're playing Pokemon alongside, your average player isn't going to do the side quest. And if by doing the side quest, you're rewarded. And then as a reward, you have this powerful Pokemon that has a memory, right? And has everything. It has everything tied to it that makes it significant to you. So I totally agree. I absolutely agree.
I mean, with the
I think
with
that's
the mystery
why
gifts, I know it's different kind of topic, but I think they've been trying to not do like as many mystery gift stuff. They're more like
I think so.
do an event. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they've listened to that because I think that's also why like the gens 1 through 4 mythicals are so much more iconic than the like especially the one I always think of is Gen 6. I'm a big X and Y fan, but dude, I'm sorry, there is nothing special about you just handing me a Hoopa and handing me a Diancie and handing me versus like in Darkrai or in Diamond and Pearl with Darkrai, you have to go into this hotel and you go to sleep and then you wake up on this. Like, I mean, just that whole experience is surreal. It adds so much to the Pokemon. And it also, y'all were talking about memories. That's been something that people are talking about a lot this episode. You have this memory. I'm not going to remember typing in a code and getting a Darkrai on a mystery gift. I'm going to remember that time I unlocked that mysterious house in Canalave City.
I think also what it is like you, like in Gen 4, for example, that what is it? Is it Cresselia or a Darkrai? Like that event that you get, you interact and obtain that event the same way you would interact and obtain any other Pokemon in the game, right? You talk to an NPC, you go to a location that's like actually like fleshed out, you battle, or someone just hands it to you, but it's still like you're still doing it within the context of the game, within the world, right? You're still fully immersed in your mind. This is happening in this story that you're playing, this game, this world that you're playing. With mystery gifts, it takes you to this like separate ethereal location, a box, like like just a stupid birthday box appears out of the ether, out of the sky, right? And then it opens up and there's imaginary glitter, and then the Pokemon appears, and then it's just in your PC. You feel so disconnected from that from that experience. It kind of has the same effect as like starting a new game, and then like I go into Home, I realize I'm like, oh, I can just drop in the legendary into my game. This kind of breaks the experience,
Yeah. But like they're saying in the chat, the Petrarant like whole thing was like really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, definitely.
They've been doing better at it. Like
they do that.
Even
they keep
the
doing that.
Meloetta thing was good. It wasn't the best it could be, but like the Meloetta thing, at least there's something there. I'm doing something to get this Meloetta.
Mm-hmm.
The Keldeo thing and Crown Tundra was very good. But I just think people want some kind of story to get the mythical, and don't just have me randomly obtain what is supposed to be one of the most powerful and one of the most elusive Pokemon on the planet.
Yeah. I think what I liked about the Petrarant event, I feel like the story and everything, I'm like, take it or leave it. It was nice that they added context and there's like a little story and whatever. I think what I liked about it was that the item, or really Petrarant, the mythical Pokemon, is present the entire time throughout Kitakami. It's just like there's a a little asset that's just sitting on the shop's desk, right? And you just can't, you can see it the whole time until you claim the actual Pokemon, and then until that story starts. That was really cool to me, because I think what that did, it kind of reminded me of older Pokemon games. Again, I'll talk about, let's not talk about Hoenn. Let's talk about Johto. In older games, there you go to the Ilex Forest, and there's that little shrine, and the whole game you're wondering, what the heck is this? Right? You see, you're like, is this a set piece? Is this for a mythical?
That's a leftover asset?
Yeah, whatever it might be. Like you see it, and it kind of like it. I guess you just kind of assume it's part of the world until later on, when you get access to the GS ball, or however you get Celebi now. Then you go back to it, it unlocks, and because it's something that already existed, you already have a relationship with it, and now it's way easier to buy into like that fateful encounter that you have with Celebi in the Ilex Forest, because that shrine already existed, right? It didn't come out of anywhere. Jake's in the chat, so I'll say it was scaffolding, is a word he always says. Yeah. Anyways. Like growing up, I mean, I remember playing in not Sutopolis, but in Moss Deep City, by the Space Center, there was that like one single rock that was differently colored from every other rock, and it was like a white rock, and people used to theorize online and on the playground like, oh, this is the Jirachi rock, because there was an NPC next to it that talked about wishing. And there's really no association. It doesn't do anything. But we all assumed maybe it could have done something because of our imaginations or whatever. I don't know. So I think that's why I like the Petron story. Not the story, but the Petron, whatever you want to call it. The event, yeah. Because that item was always there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the thing that you always kind of talk about, Dusty, the world building and things like that. And I think the Pokemon community going forward kind of really wants to emphasize that world building and immersion that we always thought as kids, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope. I think so.
Yeah, man.
But
Lycan,
that's all I have to say.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate your support. I think we're gonna take one more call, and then we gotta bounce.
Thanks for listening and all that.
Yeah, thank you, Lycan.
He's been in here like the whole time, so.
Yeah. No, thank you guys. You guys provide like a really great source of entertainment, especially last year to the crowd.
Awesome,
so I really appreciate you guys for all that.
We appreciate that.
Hopefully you guys have a
Glad to hear it.
Good year.
Thank you, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
guys.
All right, Grape, you're up. We gotta keep it quick though. I just gave you. I think I bumped Grape into the chat.
No, it looked okay. Yeah, you did. You invited him. Okay, there you go. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh, hey fellas, this is just one thing, and to kind of spice it up, this is actually purely about Generation 10.
Okay.
Well, I was doing some research, and I found out that it's possible that Arceus might be actually named after Zeus and Chaos and Archaic. So it's named the fusion of those three.
Zeus.
And if you look at the Volo, I forgot their names, but the original tribe of Sinnoh, it's kind of implied that they may be based off of the Greeks with how they dress.
What do they call it? A toga?
Toga.
Yeah, I forgot their names, but what I wanted to say is that I think Gaia, the code name, might have a double meaning to it, because back in the day there was this biologist named John Lovelock, and he had this idea called the Gaia theorem, and basically the idea was that the Earth is actually alive, and it's like this self-maintaining algorithm, and that the animals and plants that interact with each other will change and evolve depending on where they go. So if you were to take, I don't know, a bear to a different part of the world and leave it there, eventually the terrain will affect the bear, and the bear will change it to something else. Now that's been debated a lot, but
I mean, that's evolution. That's right? That's just like a creature changing over time based on its environment. That's like isn't that like a proven theory?
Yeah, but the idea that the Earth itself is kind of this living, breathing thing that regulates everything has been debated.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I thought that, well, depending on how they described, Generation 10 to the Horizons, producers, I thought, maybe if this is Greece, maybe it's going to kind of be like Alola or the Orange Islands, where the gimmick, or whatever it is going to be terrain, since Game Freak have toyed with the idea of terrain mechanics with the Tapus, and in Gen 5 they have the pledge moves. Maybe that is the gimmick, and maybe depending on what you do or where you take your Pokemon, like the terrains, there'll be brand new terrains that'll give effects to different moves or different Pokemon, and maybe some Pokemon will evolve differently based on what terrain or environment they're in. And maybe that is the gimmick. It is, in a way, it ties back to the Earth, and maybe that is what it is, a terrain-based gimmick. And depending on what you do, it powers up certain types, allows Pokemon to evolve differently. Maybe this affects the starters, and it kind of also allows all the types to get some sort of buff for Generation 10, which I thought would be neat. That's all I really wanted to say, and I want to get you guys' opinion on that, since they haven't done, I don't think, a terrain-based gimmick.
Yeah. No, that's a fun idea. I mean...
I would love that.
Gigantamax does... Some of the moves, the max moves that the Gigantamax Pokemon have access to, do have effects that will affect the terrain, I believe. But I guess if you extend terrain to also weather, it's a cool idea. It really is a cool idea. Because we definitely there's no straight gimmick that affects the terrain and stuff. But I always felt like terrain and weather is kind of underdeveloped, anyways. Like I think it is really, really cool. I think
they've always experimented with it, but not like gone to the next level with it. Like you see, like Tapu Koko. Like each generation they play with terrain. First they have Tapu Koko, or all the Tapus like can activate terrain, and that was actually a generation later than terrain was introduced. You have then in Gen 8 they actually did a bunch of moves that like change effect based on the terrain, like expanding force and rising voltage. And then in this gen, the paradoxes are influenced by the terrain or the weather.
So true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
They could do it. I mean, anything's possible at this point. I wouldn't be as excited about it. I'm like,
I would
trying to hope. I'm hoping for like a form gimmick, but at the same time, we know that
it could be
like most likely megas are gonna be in Gen 10. So it's like, how do they make a form gimmick as well as megas?
Yeah.
The reason I say a form gimmick is because we didn't get one in Scarlet and Violet, but Gen 8 had a form gimmick. So it's like they kind of do every other generation, it seems, so far. But Pokemon
you just
fans and
continue
patterns.
doing megas and then give us new megas in Gen
have some of them
as well as ZA, and
it's
then
possible.
have some megas.
Yeah.
Or you could even just do like, this Pokemon has an awakened form by this specific weather or this specific terrain.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Thank you so much for calling back. Thanks for the support again.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, man.
We'll talk.
Have a great day. Lumi, you want to thank our sponsors?
Yes. Let me make sure I have it pulled up. I do not, but let me pull it up. It'll be just a second. Just gotta click sheets. And
thanks to everyone that's in here anyway.
Yes.
Thank you all for showing up. For listening, for speaking, for keeping the chat active.
Yeah, and we want to do. We do want to do more of these. I realized the last time we did this was like 8 months ago. It was a long time.
It wasn't that long ago.
It was. Yeah, I think it. Might have been.
It was like September.
Once we have the Legends stuff flowing, people are gonna have.
I don't think it was
things
September,
to say, and we'll be like going crazy.
Lumi, I don't think
get all hyped together.
You think it was September we did?
I think it was September.
No, I think it was like.
So. I could have sworn we did one like since I've lived here, and I moved here end of August.
We did some live streams, but
Maybe.
Anyways, I want to do more. I feel bad because this was like
absolutely.
My vision for 2024 was we do these more regularly. I think also we had no news, so it was kind of just like, okay, well,
it's like today we're gonna talk about
and that is something. When Legends EA drops, we do want to. I think
we'll all get hyped together.
Yeah, this makes sense.
like we were doing it a lot more for like the Scarlet and Violet DLC.
Yeah, because there's like stuff to talk about. So because we want to get you guys' feedback and get you guys in the conversation. But let's thank our sponsors.
Yeah, so we want to thank our mythical tier supporters: Hayden Segal, Ryan, and Fosinus, Coronet Highlander, Chris, Tyler Low 15, Primal Gray, Case Stills, Sully the Skeleton, NMT Arts, Gray Williams, Papanito King, Northender, Travis Mashburn, Matt Hale, and the Pokekid 01. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporter, Red, and a Gigantamax size shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level members, Young Smokey and Bramtastic, who's been in the chat through this whole thing.
I know.
Yep, it's true.
It's good to see It's good to see Pomo. Or Pommy. Yeah.
It's Pomo.
Pomo. It was Pomo.
Pomo.
I read the first time.
The best of all of them.
Is that Pikachu? Who is that? Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support. It is nice to talk to you guys, honestly. I would say this is for the VOD. Obviously, you guys are here. You guys are supporting. But for the VOD, if you're listening and you want to join the secret Discord and jump on calls like this, you can go into the link in the description. You can join Patreon or become a YouTube channel member for just $5. It gets you in the door. If you're going back to work, right? It's a Tuesday right now. We're recording. The holidays are over. We're back on the 2025 work grind, and you need something to listen to during your commute or at work.
We're at the gym. Some of you got the little gym goals.
I like that.
Snowed in at home.
I like that. We've got over 30 podcasts that are available exclusively for Secret Power. I'm sorry, for paid supporters. Some of those include some of the guests that we've had on this show, like Loxton, Birdkeeper Toby, A Drive, the Champions League podcast boys, all sorts of great guests over there. And we've also started to roll out VODs for I've been playing Emerald Legacy. That's been a lot of fun. I've been playing Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap. I did it. Episode 3 is coming soon. We've been doing we've been playing a lot of Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield. If you guys want to get access to those VODs in the future, most of those will only be available to Patreon and YouTube channel member supporters. The point of that is to not flood our podcast channel with VODs. But usually what those are just me starting to play a game, and then we spin that out into full-on conversations and discussions, just like the podcast, for like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. It's a lot of fun. It's honestly just a lot of podcast content. So that's all available. There's a bunch of other perks as well, but we support you guys, or we appreciate you guys supporting us. I think I'm getting tired because we're about to hit.
We do support.
We're over 3 hours.
We support you in all your endeavors.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by me being tired. I think I need more coffee.
I need food.
But yeah, this has been super fun. Again, for the VOD, let us know in the comments what your 2025 Pokemon predictions are. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's great to talk to you, Lumi and Soul. It's great to talk to all of you guys in the Discord. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Happy New Year.
Bye.